Chapter 112. At noon the next day, Li Fan had already cleaned up and was ready to leave the hospital. He was really tired after a night of tossing and turning last night. Especially the battle with Guan Wenbao, it could be said that he had consumed a lot of true qi. After a sleep, although he had almost recovered, there was no feeling of fullness, which made Li Fan somewhat uncomfortable. A doctor walked into Li Fan's ward, but Li Fan knew that this guy was not a doctor, but Bai Lin Luo in a white coat. Although Bai Lin Luo was thin, he was not short. When he wore a white coat and a mask, no one could tell that he was a high school student. All of this was a normal procedure. In a while, Bai Lin Luo would personally send Li Fan out of the hospital. His existence was to send Tai Zhu and Murong Ying away. Only when these two women were not around him, Li Fan would be able to lure out Li Wenjue behind the scenes. This bastard hid like a mouse. If he didn't give him some delicious food, he wouldn't come out at all. And the role played by Huang Lei was also very simple. He was responsible for stalking a cart selling roasted sausages downstairs. The patient still needs to go through some procedures to be discharged. Please go downstairs to help the patient. Haven't we already done it? Tai Zhu was stunned for a moment. There are some follow-up procedures, said Bai Lin Luo expressionlessly. Well, since you said so. Murong Ying nodded and was about to go downstairs with Tai Zhu to go through the procedures, but a girl suddenly opened the door of the ward and timidly glanced at Li Fan. You are really here. Lin Yuan had a ponytail today and wore a very white dress, which looked very cute and playful. Li Fan's head immediately swelled up. This girl, why did she suddenly run over? I've been looking for you for a long time before I realized that you were in this ward. This was the first time Lin Yin had been to a place like this, so she was a little surprised. Murong Ying raised her eyebrows and looked at Lin Yuzhen again. I heard that you were discharged today, so I came to pick you up. Sensei. Why are you here too? Lin Yin was surprised to see Murong Ying here. Although Murong Ying was the school's director, the students usually called her teacher. Tai Zhu, go downstairs and do the paperwork. Murong Ying seemed to be interested. She waved her hand and asked the tall and strong Tai Zhu to go downstairs. Seeing Tai Zhu's appearance, Lin Yuchen was obviously a little scared. She subconsciously walked behind Li Fan, pulled his sleeve and said, Li Fan? Who is that? He looks so fierce. That's my housekeeper. Murong Ying crossed her arms and looked at Lin Yu. This should be the school's top classmate Lin. Why are you here? Because Li Fan was injured because of me, Sensei Murong. Lin Yuzhen hurriedly explained. On the other hand, Sensei Murong, why are you here? Because I'm his fiancé. The corner of Murong Ying's mouth slightly rose. Lin Yuchen was immediately stunned. Li Fan was also stunned. Motherfucker, it's messed up, it's all fucking messed up. What's wrong with Murong Ying today? What happened to being low-key? What happened to not revealing her identity? Fiancé. Even if Lin Yuchen had an IQ of 140, she was also stunned at this moment. What the hell is going on? How could Li Fan have a fiancé out of nowhere? Moreover, it's a great beauty like Murong Ying? Didn't he say that he wanted to chase after Murong Ying? What the hell is going on? Lin Yixing, we're only fiancé in name. Don't be scared. Li Fan was afraid that Lin Yuchen would leak this matter out, so he hurriedly explained, actually we don't have any substantial relationship. Don't misunderstand and don't tell anyone. How is there no substantial relationship? Murong Ying somewhat proudly touched her flat belly. I'm already pregnant with your child. What? Lin Yuchen nearly exploded. Pregnant with child? You guys? Did? Lin Yuchen stuttered. Li Fan immediately clarified. Stop messing around. At most, we've only kissed. Only kissed. Lin Yuthen seemed to be relieved, but very quickly, she became unhappy again. Even if it's just kissing. I'm a little uncomfortable. Murong Ying and Li Fan. The two of them are actually fiancé. Then what should I do? No. Lin Yusen, what are you thinking? What relationship do the two of them have with you? Why are you so worried? That's right, I'm helping Li Fan to re-establish his three views. He's so young, And he's already engaged to someone when he's still studying. This is not proper. This is a mental illness. That's right. That's right. I'm a qualified psychiatrist. I have to treat him. I have a great responsibility. I must not lose in the battle of treatment. Lin Yuexian secretly encouraged herself. At this time, Murong-ing began to ask her to leave. Classmate Lin, you can go back now. I'll take care of him. Teacher Murong, no matter what, Li Fan was injured because of me. As a classmate and a good friend, I should naturally take him out of the hospital. Lin Yuten raised her head as if she was issuing a challenge. Murong-ing seemed to be smiling. It was unknown if it was a light smile or a cold smile. In any case, from Li Fan's point of view, it wasn't a good smile. If it's Li Fan, naturally I, as his fiancée, will take him out of the hospital. As she said, her gaze fell on Li Fan. Back to our warm home, right, husband? This husband made Lin Yun feel extremely uncomfortable. What's going on? Why do I feel so uncomfortable? It must be because the air in the hospital isn't that good. Teacher Murong, you're not legally recognized as husband and wife. It's not right for you to call me that. Lin Yun said unconvinced. Moreover, Li Fan is still a high school student. Moreover, he's going to take the college entrance examination next year. He shouldn't be exposed to marriage so early. This will affect his future. Classmate Lin, I can feel your concern for your classmate. Murong-ing lightly said, but my man's future, I naturally have the final say. He has hands and feet. He's also a man. Why does he need a woman like you to have the final say? Lin Yuten became even more unhappy. Because he's the father of my child. He must take responsibility. Forget it. Don't you have any physiological knowledge? Kissing won't make you pregnant. You speak as if you understand it very well. Have you ever kissed before? This. Lin Yuten was flustered. But Murong-ing continued to provoke. Classmate Lin, your current task is to study well. Don't be overly concerned about the opposite-sex students. Be careful that it will affect your grades. My grades have always been good. Teacher Murong doesn't need to worry about me. Li Fan, let's go. I'll accompany you out of the hospital. Husband, I'll take you home. The two of them simultaneously stretched out their hands towards Li Fan. Chapter 113. To communicate with these two women, Li Fan felt that he would rather fight with Guan Wenbao for another 300 rounds. Motherfucker, what the hell was going on? His plan was about to be disrupted by these two women. You two, stop fooling around. I'm a patient, do you know that? Li Fan said angrily. Moreover, I have legs, I can get out of the hospital by myself. I don't need your help. As he spoke, he ignored the two women and directly pushed open the door and walked out. Ah, Li Fan. Wait a minute. Murong-ing stopped Lin Yin, who wanted to chase after him. Classmate Lin, how about the two of us have a chat? Director Murong, I don't think the two of us have anything to talk about. Lin Yun looked at Murong-ing. We don't belong to the same world. Indeed, we don't belong to the same world. Murong-ing agreed with this point. But because of a certain someone, they crossed paths. Although this is not the result that I want to see, there are some words that I want to warn you about. Director Murong has a high position and power. Lin Yun said with a bit of sarcasm, I'm really flattered that you want to personally warn a small figure like me. Classmate Lin, you're still young, there's no need for you to speak so harshly. Murong-ing looked at Lin Yun as if she was looking at a little girl. After all, the marriage between me and Li Fan is something that both parents have agreed to. It's absolutely impossible for you to interfere. Moreover, Li Fan is not an ordinary person, and he's not someone that a girl like you can control. It's better for you to keep your distance from him. That's funny. Lin Yun curled her lips. First of all, I don't have that kind of feelings for Li Fan. Secondly, even if I do have feelings for him, who are you to stop me? What era was it now? Arranged marriages were no longer practiced. You two haven't even gotten a marriage certificate. Even if I like him, it's reasonable and legal. Director Murong, with your status, you shouldn't have said these things to me. What's wrong? Are you afraid? Afraid? Of course you're scared. Lin Yuthan nodded confidently. I majored in psychology. You can't hide it from me. You're afraid that I'll snatch Li Fan away. Ridiculous. Murong Ying snorted coldly. Why would I be afraid? If you're not afraid, how about we make a bet? Lin Yuthan made a victory sign in her heart. Although Murong Ying's figure was better than hers, and her background was also better than mine. But when it came to intelligence, that was his advantage. Bet? Tell me about it. From Li Fan's classmate Li's attitude, you should be able to tell that his feelings for us are similar. So, we're on equal footing now, and the opportunity is also fair. Both of us, let's bet on who can make Li Fan fall for you. Interesting. Murong Ying crossed her arms and pondered for a while, but you'll definitely lose. Are you sure you want to compete? We'll know after we compete. The loser will leave Li Fan's world. Do you dare to do that? Lin Yuthan deliberately provoked Murong Ying. She knew that this method was more effective. Why not? Murong Ying nodded. I accept your challenge. Okay. Lin Yuthan was a little proud. She was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. She didn't say to chase after Li Fan, but to make Li Fan fall for her first. Humph humph, it's not difficult to make Li Fan fall for me. Moreover, we don't need to be boyfriend and girlfriend. I can win against a beauty like Murong Ying and make her leave Li Fan on her own accord. Then, I can let Li Fan return to his normal life and correct his worldview. Ayaya, I'm really awesome. I can actually think of such an awesome idea. Then it's a deal. It's a deal. When the 2 women pulled away from the smoke-free battlefield, Li Fan was also setting up his own trap. There was a secluded corner at the back of the hospital. There was almost no one there. Li Fan deliberately bought a grilled sausage and cola from Huang Lei. As if to avoid everyone's sight, he squatted in the corner and started to eat the grilled sausage. But to be honest, Li Fan hadn't eaten such delicious food for a long time. He was quite excited. He didn't want to get injured again. The feeling of not being able to eat was really unpleasant. Take the bait. Quickly take the bait. Li Fan sat on the stairs and took out his phone. He pretended to secretly eat while scrolling through Weibo. Tai Zhu and Murong Ying weren't here. Li Wenjue should know that this was his only chance. After a few more days of recovery, he probably wouldn't be able to kill me. If I were Li Wenjue, I definitely wouldn't miss this opportunity. Li Fan waited for more than an hour. His phone was almost out of battery. He finally stood up and stretched his body. He was ready to leave. But at this moment, a chilly wind came down from above. Li Fan didn't hesitate and immediately turned around and kicked. Li Wenjue somersaulted in midair and landed on top of a dried fountain statue to stabilize himself. We meet again. Li Fan finally smiled. Seeing Li Wenjue again, he wasn't angry but excited. It's time to continue our unfinished battle, right? It's time to complete your nightmare. Li Wenjue took a deep breath and slowly separated his palms. Thanks to you, my minor formless magic technique had a breakthrough. It's now the 5th level. Then aren't you going to treat me to a meal? I'll send you to hell. Li Wenjue said and suddenly chopped at Li Fan with his hand. Li Fan took a step back. Li Wenjue's hand chopped at the wall behind Li Fan. The wall was forcibly cut out a groove, and then Li Wenjue used another piercing hand, which was dodged by Li Fan sideways. The wall was once again pierced by Li Wenjue's palm. Damn it. Minor formless magic technique is a bit too heaven-defying. Even I can't train my body to be like steel. The current Li Wenjue doesn't need the goose feather blade, nor does he need a pair of iron claws. He himself is the strongest weapon in the world. You can't defeat me. Li Wenjue continued to attack. Li Fan could only use the red-crowned crane wings to block the attacks. The red-crowned crane wings can be said to be Li Fan's best defense. It allows him to form a 1-meter vacuum zone around him, blocking any attack. But Li Wenjue's attacks are too strong. Soon, Li Fan's hands were covered in wounds. It seems like he won't be able to hold on for long. But Li Fan doesn't panic. Instead, he is very calm. He is waiting for an opportunity. Go to hell. Li Wenjue's left hand suddenly stabbed at Li Fan's throat. This is the moment. Li Wenjue's dominant hand is his left hand. His goal was to seal his left hand. Chapter 114. Deer Capture. Li Fan's hands lock onto Li Wenjue's left hand as he forcefully pulls it down. Although Li Wenjue has copper skin and iron bones, Li Fan's deer strike technique lock technique makes him unable to break free. His body is pushed forward, but Li Wenjue doesn't care. Even if he can lock his arm, Li Fan won't be able to hurt him. His lesser phaseless divine technique is that heaven-defying. He has already trained it to the 5th stage. As long as he can kill Li Fan, he might be able to advance to 1,000 households when he returns. Li Wenjue looks at Li Fan with eyes filled with greed. It is as if Li Fan is just a prey in his eyes. And this kind of gaze is something that Li Fan doesn't like. Still not giving up? Li Wenjue sneers, "Your death date has arrived." "No, it is your death date." Li Fan suddenly laughs. Li Wenjue is thinking in his heart, could it be that this fellow has gone crazy from despair? Before he could figure it out, a bad feeling suddenly exploded from his back, causing Li Wenjue to feel a chill run down his spine. Li Wenjue turns his head and sees a horrifying scene. The statue of Second Master Guan by the side of the fountain suddenly moves. No, that is not a statue. It is clearly a man with silver paint on his face. He raises a crescent moon blade in his hand and suddenly jumps over. In a blink of an eye, the crescent moon blade brings with it a crimson glow as it lands on Li Wenjue's arm. Splitting Mount Hua. Guan Wenbao's Guan family's saber technique is very domineering. Its attack power is strong and it presses forward. Li Fan believes that with Guan Wenbao's saber technique, he can definitely restrain Li Wenjue's lesser phaseless divine technique. Indeed, the air seems to burn as the crimson flame slashes on Li Wenjue's arm. Clang. With a muffled sound, Li Wenjue's arm trembled heavily, and then with a poochie sound, it was forcefully chopped off by Guan Wenbao's saber. Impossible! Li Wenjue howled in pain and took 3 steps back. At the same time, he sealed the qi and blood in his left hand to prevent himself from losing too much blood and becoming weak. But even if he dealt with it in time, he had lost an arm just like that. Moreover, it was his favorite hand. As for Guan Wenbao's crescent blade, it was bent. It was a ghastly sight. Li Wenjue clutched his broken arm, coldly staring at Li Fan and Guan Wenbao. "Despicable bastard, how dare you sneak attack me? Go to hell. Don't be shameless." Li Fan cursed, "How dare you say such things? A mere inexperienced brat dares to scheme against me. I'll take your life." As Li Wenjue spoke, his eyes were already bloodshot. His right hand directly reached out towards Li Fan. Even if he only had one arm, he still wanted to fight him to determine who was better. "Guan, leave the rest to me." Li Fan did not want to team up and bully a person with only one arm. His body trembled and he roared, causing the ground around him to tremble. "Bear strike. Bear cavalry." Li Fan's body seemed to have swelled up a bit. True qi filled his body, strengthening his muscles, and even the bones in his body had changed. Just like India's yoga, when cultivated to the extreme, Chinese true qi could also allow a person to be reborn. At this time, under the strengthening of true qi, Li Fan's height of 1.7 meters had grown to 1.9 meters. The muscles on his body had also become firmer. At first glance, Li Fan looked like a giant bear in human form. Li Fan was wearing a suit, but his shirt was torn by Li Fan. His pants had also become cropped. Seeing Li Fan's transformation, Li Wenjue was clearly shocked. Abnormal bone changing. This Li Fan's internal energy had already undergone such a powerful transformation. Even after training to the 5th level of minor phaseless technique, he still could not achieve abnormal bone changing. At the very least, he needed to reach the 8th level of minor phaseless technique. And this man clearly only had the strength of 4 tigers. How could he achieve such a feat? Black Bear slamming the door. Li Fan raised his palm and slapped towards Li Wenjue's face. Li Wenjue raised his right arm and blocked in front of him. But the power of Li Fan's slap was too strong. In an instant, his body was sent flying as if he was swatting a bug. Boom! The fountain sculpture behind him was instantly crushed. Li Wenjue was lying inside. Although he did not suffer any external injuries because of minor phaseless technique, His internal organs were affected, and his blood flow was somewhat unstable. Li Fan took 2 steps forward and grabbed Li Wenjue. With a single hand, he lifted him into the air and smashed him on both sides. Finally, he smashed him heavily on the ground and added a kick. Bam! This kick was extremely heavy, and Li Wenjue spat out a mouthful of blood. The power of this kick from Li Fan was too strong. Even with his golden body, Li Wenjue could not completely block it. He was extremely shocked. How could a mere Li Fan have such strength? Li Wenjue, I did not have the intention to hurt you, but you forced me. Li Fan stepped on Li Wenjue with 1 foot and said in a muffled voice, I will not kill you, but I will accept your martial arts. With that, he suddenly retracted his bear cavalry stance. His bones let out a crackling sound, and his body returned to its original state. Then he changed to Toad Strike. Before Li Wenjue could stand up, Li Fan slapped him on the forehead. He was a pure yang body, so he could absorb a woman's true qi from his mouth. Li Fan had always wanted to improve on this. If he could not only absorb true qi from women, it would be much more convenient. Furthermore, absorbing it from his mouth was too evil. He could use his mouth on women, but he could not bear to use his mouth on men. Therefore, during the few days that Li Fan had been recuperating in the hospital, he had comprehended a new technique. Dragon Toad Ingestion. Li Fan allowed his true qi to form a black hole from his palm, and then let it flow through his body, imitating the way a pure yang body absorbs true qi. Although the effect was less than 1/10 of a pure yang body, it was very useful for a seriously injured person. Li Fan's palm was like a greedy toad sucking water, forcefully extracting true qi from Li Wenjue's Baihui acupoint. What are you doing? Li Wenjue was terrified, and he felt a wave of panic in his heart. Following that, the true qi in his body seemed to be out of his control and was forcefully extracted from his dantian. It was as if he was sleeping soundly in his bed, and suddenly a burly man pulled him out of his bed. This feeling was really uncomfortable. No. The dignified Li Baihu was letting out a miserable cry like a woman, and his true qi was continuously being extracted from his dantian, and through the Baihui acupoint on the top of his head, it entered Li Fan's body. Let me go, I beg you to let me go. Li Wenjue wailed like a ghost and howled like a wolf, but Li Fan did not have the slightest intention of letting go. In fact, he was no longer under Li Fan's control. He felt as if his hand was growing on Li Wenjue's head and was frantically extracting true qi from his body. He could not stop. Chapter 115. This is also the first time Li Fan uses Dragon Toad's ingestion of water. He didn't think that such a situation would occur. It can be said that he is just using Li Wenjue to test the waters. But who would have thought that the result of testing the waters is a little beyond Li Fan's expectations? The true qi in Li Wenjue's body is completely squeezed out from his dantian. Almost nothing is left, all of it is extracted. In less than 3 minutes, Li Wenjue is already paralyzed on the ground, twitching non-stop. All of the true qi in his body has been extracted by Li Fan. It can be said that he is equivalent to being crippled. From now on, he basically has no fate with martial arts. To him, this is more painful than killing him. Li Fan finally absorbs all of Li Wenjue's internal energy. The uncontrollable suction force from his palm also stops. He looks at his own hand. His heart is filled with amazement. Dragon Toad's ingestion of water can be said to be a technique that harms others to benefit oneself. Furthermore, this benefit is pitifully small. After absorbing so much energy, Li Fan can only use 10% of it. This 10% still needs time to be refined. After refining, it should be enough to raise his strength to the strength of 5 tigers. This way, his realm will step into the advanced level. The distance between him and Murong Ying is getting closer and closer. Li Fan believes that sooner or later, he will surpass Murong Ying. What he needs is time and opportunity. But Li Wenjue is already at his limit. Not to mention that he has lost an arm, he has also lost all of his internal energy. Now that his dantian is also crippled, what awaits him is endless despair. Your Excellency, Guan Wenbao kneels down in front of Li Fan and cups his hands and says, "Wenbao has a request. How many times have I said, 'Don't call me your excellency'?" Li Fan waves his hand, "Just call me by my name." Please agree to Wenbao's presumptuous request. But Guan Wenbao still insisted, so Li Fan could only nod. "Tell me, what do you want from me?" "Sir, please promise Wenbao that you will never use this evil method again." Guan Wenbao pleaded, "Destroying a person's martial arts is scarier than killing a person. Wenbao, I hope that your excellency will not use this kind of evil technique again. If you want to use it, you might as well kill him." "I think I understand what you mean." Li Fan nodded, but Huang Lei had been secretly watching from the side for a long time. When he heard Guan Wenbao's words, he immediately became unhappy and stood up to reprimand him. "Guan Wenbao, how could you say that? If my big brother hadn't saved you, you would still be a lackey for a silly little girl. Not only are you not repaying my big brother, but you're also pointing fingers here. Remember your identity, you're the same as me, just a little brother. As a little brother, you will do whatever big brother says. Do you understand? Some things can be done, and some things can't be done." However, Guan Wenbao was insistent. "Fart, when you were a lackey for that silly little girl, you've done even more absurd things. Why don't you say it?" Guan Wenbao was speechless, but Li Fan quickly said, "Don't say that, Lei. If I do that, then what's the difference between me and that snake woman? Today is the first time I used this trick, it's very evil, so try not to use it in the future." Li Fan patted Guan Wenbao's shoulder, "We're all brothers. Don't kneel, a man's knees are worth gold." "Thank you, sir." It was Wenbao who was rude. Guan Wenbao was very ashamed. Li Fan glanced at Li Wenjua. "This is a hospital, Lei, set off the fireworks, let the doctor save him, let's go." "Got it, big brother." Huang Lei took out the prepared fireworks and lit them on the ground. The three of them quickly left the place, as if they had never been here. This was an abandoned place, and there were no cameras, which were already investigated by Lin Luo and Huang Lei. After Li Fan left the hospital, he asked Guan Wenbao to take the money back to the Miss of the Red Dragon Society. Huang Lei was still a little distressed when 5 million, it was gone before he could even warm his hands. However, Li Fan still owed Lu Xinan 500,000, and he was still waiting for Lu Xinan to call him. Li Fan didn't have time to think about these things. After he crippled Li Wenjua, he immediately returned home and sat in the training room. Phew! Li Fan slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air, feeling the changes in his body. A qualified martial fighter could look at his own meridians. Li Fan could do this now, as long as he calmed his mind and concentrated on training, he could see the appearance of his meridians. A stream of true qi came out from his dantian, and then according to the order Li Fan modified, it went through each meridian in his body. After looking inside, Li Fan found that there were 9 important acupuncture points in his meridians. At this time, 4 of these acupuncture points had been opened, and every time he opened a new internal force, one of these acupuncture points would be opened. In other words, his new 7-gallant force had a total of 9 layers. Murong Ying said that the 5 Animal Frolic's internal force had 5 layers. It seemed that after being modified by him, there were new changes. 9 layers, interesting. I have also absorbed some of Li Wenjua's true qi. Can I smoothly open the 5th acupuncture point? Li Fan first mobilized the dantian qi in his body, refining Li Wenjua's true qi that was stored in it. This Li Wenjua's true qi was very overbearing, and it also carried a kind of evil. Once it was released, it immediately collided in Li Fan's body, as if it was very difficult to deal with. "Motherfucker, you think I can't deal with you?" Li Fan curled his lips. Even Murong Ying's true qi was subdued by the young master, not to mention your strange martial arts. Li Fan immediately mobilized all the true qi in his body, and began to encircle and suppress Li Wenjua's true qi. Rather than saying encircle and suppress, it was more like devouring. After all, Li Fan's true qi was the majority, so he easily gained the upper hand and crazily devoured Li Wenjua's true qi. This bit of true qi did not last for too long, and was refined by Li Fan. The extra true chi gave Li Fan a sense of adequacy. The true chi that he had lost before was also completely replenished. Li Fan even had an urge to continue devouring other people's true chi. This feeling of reaping without sowing made him very refreshed. Do you like it? Someone seemed to be talking in his ear, causing Li Fan to frown slightly. Who is it? Thirst for power? That voice did not answer Li Fan but continued, "We are destined to be extraordinary, so why should we suppress our power? As long as you open your heart and accept me, we will be unparalleled in the world. In this world, no one is our opponent." Shut up! Li Fan berated, but the voice laughed. "One day, you will need my power, he." Chapter 116. Shut up! Li Fan is a bit annoyed. Who is it that dares to disturb my mind? Everyone is bullying you. Have you forgotten? The voice continues to whisper in Li Fan's ear. Could it be that you can endure it? I will use my strength to defeat them. Li Fan immediately says, "Who are you? Why are you chirping in my ear? So annoying." "I am you. Could it be that you can't even recognize your own voice?" The voice continues, "All of these are your own voice. The heavens are unfair. All living things are like dogs. Why are you bitterly defending this useless righteousness?" "So it is my heart's devil." Li Fan laughs. Murong-ing said that when one cultivates to a certain realm, they will encounter their own heart's devil. It seems like this dragon toad's absorption of water is indeed an evil technique. With the addition of the minor phaseless divine technique's evil aura, it managed to lure you out. I am originally you. What is there to be lured out? The voice sneers, Li Fan. Could it be that you have forgotten? When you were in school, how those people oppressed you? Your teacher, your classmates, how did they bully you? And that Murong-ing. She is so high and mighty. Could it be that you don't want to conquer her under your crotch? Hearing this, Li Fan goes silent for a moment. Without knowing why, he is unable to refute the heart's devil's words. Release me, and you can be the only one. The voice seems to be right beside his ear, but it also seems to be far away. Release me, and you can move unhindered under the heavens. The voice is tempting Li Fan. But Li Fan tries his best to empty his mind and ignore the voice. What heart's devil, I can just ignore it. Li Fan re-enters his inner vision and starts to mobilize his chi. Under Li Fan's control, this huge chi starts to attack the fifth acupoint. As long as he breaks through this acupoint, he will be able to open the fifth realm. At that time, he would be a true expert. However, attacking the fifth acupoint was not as simple as absorbing Li Wenjua's true chi. This fifth acupoint was like a sturdy wall. No matter how hard Li Fan tried, he couldn't move it at all. As expected, it wasn't that easy to break through his inner force. However, Li Fan was not discouraged and continued to work hard to conquer this position. His true chi was like a ferocious cavalry, attacking again and again, crazily attacking the fifth meridian point. Finally, under Li Fan's prolonged attacks, a crack appeared on the sturdy city wall. Try harder. Li Fan cheered himself on. He maintained his patience and continued to conquer step by step. He didn't know how much time had passed, but he was already covered in cold sweat. While he was concentrating on overcoming the difficulties, Murong-ing also returned home. She was slightly surprised to see Li Fan in the practice room. This was because 4 puffs of white smoke had appeared above Li Fan's head and were slowly drifting towards his head. 4 flowers at one's prominence? Murong-ing was very envious. Not everyone could have this thing. It represented a person's talent. She was already talented and had a clear bone structure, but she was only at 3 flowers at one's prominence. As for Li Fan, he was actually at 4 flowers at one's prominence, which was 1 more flower than her. Although this boy looked ordinary, he had amazing talent in martial arts. The pure yang constitution was great. Why couldn't she have a male body? If she also had a pure yang constitution, she would have been a grandmaster a long time ago. However, there was a faint trace of black on Li Fan's face. Murong-ing's face darkened. He hadn't been practicing martial arts for long, but he had already encountered an inner demon. However, it seemed normal. After all, Li Fan's strength had improved too quickly, as if he had advanced by leaps and bounds. It was impossible for ordinary people to cultivate to the point of perfection without 8 to 10 years. However, Li Fan was an exception. In less than 2 months, he had already reached this level. As the saying went, it was difficult to cultivate for 1,000 years, but easy to become a demon overnight. Practicing martial arts originally had to be done step by step. Once one's strength increased too quickly, and one's state of mind could not keep up, then inner demons would be born. She hoped that Li Fan could resolve this inner demon and not become a demon. Murong Ying stood in front of the door, quietly looking at Li Fan as if she was waiting for him. At this moment, Li Fan had reached a critical juncture. Many cracks had appeared on the 5th acupoint, and he was about to conquer it. However, at this moment, a strong flow of qi flowed out from the 5th acupoint and hit Li Fan's qi. Li Fan was stunned for a moment. What was going on? There was actually a flow of true qi? Was this the 5th acupoint's final resistance? Well, young master would not be afraid of you. Li Fan took a deep breath, stabilized the true qi that was almost scattered, and then intertwined with the true qi that flowed out from the acupoint. Hard work pays off. Under Li Fan's hard work, he finally destroyed the last bit of true qi that was resisting stubbornly. The 5th acupoint also became unobstructed, and a comfortable feeling flowed into Li Fan's body. Li Fan felt as if his eyes and ears had become sharper. When he opened his eyes, he could even see the fine hair on Murong Ying's face. He had indeed become stronger. This kind of feeling made Li Fan feel especially comfortable. However, he also had a feeling that he could feel the true qi flowing in Murong Ying's body. It was so tempting, as if it was an unstoppable delicacy, enticing him. This feeling was like a vampire seeing the blood flow in a human's body. Very strange. Absorb all her true qi. That hoarse voice rang in his ear again. You can become stronger. Go absorb all her. Absorb all your grandpa. Shut up. Li Fan scolded in his heart, and the voice slowly dissipated. The heart demon originates from your weakness. At this time, Murong Ying spoke. Similarly, it will also dissipate in your strength. You actually saw through it? Li Fan was a little surprised. What kind of eyes does this Murong Ying have? Of course. Murong Ying was a little proud. How can such a small matter be hidden from me? You don't have to worry. The heart demon is a step that every martial artist will experience. There is a first time for everything. Don't be afraid. Damn, why does this sentence sound a little wrong? Li Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry, but he was a little itchy. He hooked his finger at Murong Ying. Wife, tonight I am going to climb into your bed. No wonder there is a heart demon. You are really not steady at all. Murong Ying laughed. All right, tonight I will personally test you and see if you have the ability to climb into my bed. Good. Remember what you said. Li Fan was overjoyed. I am not the previous Li Fan. You better be careful. Chapter 117. Fighting with Murong Ying once again, Li Fan was full of confidence. After all, he had advanced a level and entered the next level. This unprecedented confidence made Li Fan even more excited. To be fair to you, I won't use my sword. Murong Ying unexpectedly showed mercy today, which made Li Fan somewhat surprised. No need, I want to fight you with all my strength. But Li Fan was arrogant. How could he be willing to let Murong Ying go easy on him? But Murong Ying smiled sweetly, stretched out 2 fingers and said, There is a sword in my heart. With that, she pointed 2 fingers at Li Fan, and a sword qi suddenly brushed past Li Fan's cheek and hit the wall behind him. A blood stain appeared on Li Fan's cheek, and a small crack appeared on the wall behind him, leading to the outside world. What the? Has Murong Ying's swordsmanship already reached such a high level? No wonder she is the leader of the Wulin Alliance. With just a lift of her hand, there is sword qi. I already felt that Murong Ying was amazing, but only today did I realize that I still underestimated her. Li Fan, after 3 days, I have to look at you in a different light. Murong Ying said, Although I have to look at you in a different light, these few days I have recovered very quickly. After all, I have returned to the peak. Damn. Li Fan almost collapsed. How could this woman also advance a level? Humph. So what if I am a level lower? Today I will challenge someone of a higher level. Li Fan said in an extraordinary manner, but Murong shook her finger. No, no, no. This is not a matter of a level but a whole realm. The gap of a realm cannot be made up with brute force and skill. It can be said that a master of the peak can fight more than 10 masters of the next level without any problem. On the other hand, a super expert like Murong, who was close to the level of a grandmaster, could fight 100 of them alone. Don't look down on me, my wife. You'll be the one to suffer when the time comes. As Li Fan spoke, he circulated the qi in his dantian, and the 7 heroes' force spread throughout his body. The 7 heroes' force made Li Fan stronger and his senses more sensitive. At the same time, Li Fan could directly feel the power of Murong. This woman was indeed very powerful. Her entire body was covered in sword qi, but in that instant, in the blink of an eye, the sword qi was absorbed into her body. Quiet as a virgin, quick as a rabbit. It was fine if Murong did not make a move, but once she did, the world would be turned upside down. Competing with Murong, Li Fan had to be extremely careful. He gathered his qi and prepared to fight with Murong. Li Fan, I've known you for so long, but this is the first time you've seen my Murong family's secret technique, Fallen Hero's Sword Technique. Murong said, this Fallen Hero's Sword Technique is overbearing but not lacking in nimbleness. The most important thing is that it complements my martial god technique, allowing me to... Heavens! None. Double. With that, Murong stretched out her hand and released her sword qi towards Li Fan. For the first time, Li Fan saw that sword qi could also take shape. In front of him, a lotus flower formed by sword qi slowly bloomed, releasing intense sword qi, like the petals of the lotus flower, in an instant, attacking in all directions. What the fuck? Needless to say, Li Fan was shocked. So, when martial arts reached Murong level, it turned out to be like this. Incorporeal qi and sword qi could actually take form. There are 3 major obstacles in martial arts, and I've already broken through one of them. You better watch carefully. Murong looked at Li Fan, who was using immortal crane flapping wings to send her sword qi flying with a smile. This is one of the 3 major obstacles, turning nothingness into reality. The qi in your body, including my sword qi, can all turn from nothingness into a tangible object. How to turn a gaseous object into a tangible object, this is what you need to learn next. With that, Murong opened her right hand, and that large lotus flower seemed to have color, and suddenly dispersed. The lotus flower disappeared, and the room seemed to be covered with pink cherry blossoms, all formed by Murong sword qi. These cherry blossoms flew out in all directions, looking extremely beautiful, but hidden within them was killing intent. Li Fan kept waving his hands, using 120% of immortal crane flapping wings in an attempt to send these sword qi flying. But there were too many cherry blossom sword qi, and in the blink of an eye, a lot of them slipped through the net, passing through Li Fan's body, leaving many small wounds. Looking at the beautiful curve on Murong lips, Li Fan was very unhappy. Damn it, I can't let this woman look down on me. Army. Li Fan roared angrily, and his body suddenly expanded a bit. The shirt that he was wearing was torn again. This move was really a little troublesome. He was too wasteful. Li Fan secretly felt his heart ache. Abnormal bone changing? Murong seemed a little surprised, as if she didn't expect Li Fan to be able to use such profound martial arts. There were 3 major obstacles in martial arts: turning nothingness into reality, abnormal bone changing, and heart and demon unification. She had gone through untold hardships to break through one of the major obstacles, which was turning nothingness into reality, which was why she was regarded as a peerless genius by her family. And this Li Fan actually comprehended abnormal bone changing in such a short period of time? This was a little too unfair. At this moment, Murong heart was not balanced, and she actually felt a little jealous. With a wave of her hand, a row of cherry blossom sword qi had already arrived in front of Li Fan. This time, she had lost her composure and forgot to be merciful. And facing so many cherry blossom sword chi, Li Fan could only stretch out his hands in panic, blocking in front of his body. Fortunately, after entering the bear cavalry, Li Fan's defense had greatly increased. When the cherry blossom sword chi hit his body, it collided with Li Fan's protective chi, creating golden sparks. However, there were still some that penetrated his true chi and stabbed into his body, leaving more scars on Li Fan's body. Li Fan raised his arm, withstood the cherry blossom sword chi, and walked step by step towards Murong-ing. After entering the bear cavalry, other than the bear strike technique, Li Fan could not use any other moves. He could only endure and charge forward. Murong-ing frowned. Was Li Fan crazy? She increased the speed of the cherry blossom sword chi, trying to force Li Fan back. But not only did Li Fan not retreat, a smile slowly appeared on his face. He seemed to be very happy. He had clearly suffered so many injuries, but could he still be happy? Just as Murong-ing was hesitating, Li Fan's hand was already on her shoulder. "I've caught you." Li Fan's eyes flickered with joy. Following that, he lifted with one hand, and Murong-ying's body was directly grabbed by him. "Who?" Li Fan threw Murong-ying's body heavily towards the ground like a sack. Chapter 118. Heart-piercing sword. Murong-ing pointed a finger at Li Fan and a cherry blossom sword chi shot towards the center of Li Fan's eyebrows in an attempt to stop Li Fan's attack. However, Li Fan stretched out his right hand and shattered the sword chi. Bam! Murong-ying's body heavily smashed onto the ground. She was actually at a disadvantage. Li Fan had succeeded for the first time. He was extremely happy, but without any hesitation, he had already raised his foot and attempted to step on Murong-ing. Bear trample. During the day, Li Fan had relied on this foot to step on Li Wenjue and cause him to vomit blood. However, Murong-ing was Murong-ing. The title of Martial Arts Alliance Master was not obtained for nothing. When she was only 16 years old, she had already challenged all the dojos under the heavens and won all the famous sects. Her combat experience was very rich. Although she was shocked by Li Fan's moves, she quickly reacted. Li Fan's series of smashing, stomping, and kicking were continuous techniques. Even if she suffered the first move, if she dodged the next one, Li Fan's attack would be ineffective. Murong-ying's right hand slapped the ground and her body immediately slid out lightly. She landed on a wooden stake at the side and maintained the posture of a golden rooster standing on one leg. Then she pointed two fingers at Li Fan. Thousandly falling petals. With a delicate shout, the cherry blossom sword chi that filled the room suddenly gathered together and spun towards Li Fan. Li Fan's body was hit. Countless cherry blossom sword chi pushed his body and pushed him heavily against the wall behind him. Bam! Li Fan spat out a mouthful of blood. This time, his injuries were not light. Murong-ing was not a gentle girl. When it came to a real fight, she would not hold back. Li Fan slid down to the ground and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He used his inner force to heal himself and thought of a way to deal with the situation. Other than the toad strike technique, all his moves were basically close combat techniques. If he were to fight with Murong-ing, he would be at a disadvantage. Moreover, the toad strike technique's qigong circulation was somewhat slow, so it was not suitable to deal with Murong-ying's fast sword energy. How about it? Do you admit defeat? Murong-ing looked at Li Fan with some pride. As a beginner, you haven't mastered it yet. She had already recovered to the strength of 9 tigers and 2 dragons. She was not far from her previous strength of 4 dragons. Especially since she knew how to turn nothing into something. If she was defeated by Li Fan, it would really be a joke. I won't admit defeat. Li Fan's brain quickly turned. He glanced at his own fingers. Murong-ing could use her fingers to release sword chi, then could he also use his fingers to release true chi? With this idea in mind, Li Fan compressed his true chi and gathered it on his fingers. Imagining the principle of a pistol, Li Fan raised his right hand and extended his thumb and fingers. Like a pistol, he aimed at Murong-ing. Murong-ing slightly tilted her head, not knowing what Li Fan's intention was. At this time, The true qi in Li Fan's body had been forced to the tip of his index finger. Li Fan immediately felt a swelling sensation on his index finger, giving him the urge to shoot it. Sigh, why is this idea so evil? Li Fan shook off his unnecessary thoughts, then aimed at Murong-ing. Pa! True qi exploded from Li Fan's index finger and turned into a pillar of qi, quickly shooting towards Murong-ing. Murong-ing was shocked. She did not expect Li Fan to have such a strange move. She subconsciously adjusted the cherry blossom sword qi, condensing it into a ball in front of her in an attempt to block Li Fan's attack. Bam! However, Li Fan's attack was extremely powerful, and Murong-ying's sword qi defense was actually broken. The bullet formed from true qi hit Murong-ying's shoulder, but because it had consumed too much qi, it was unable to break through Murong-ying's protective aura. Even so, the power was still astonishing. Murong-ing was forced to take a step back, and the cherry blossom sword qi that she controlled also dissipated, turning into an invisible air current that blew open the window behind her. Her beautiful eyes were filled with tears as she looked at Li Fan, momentarily speechless. In such a short period of time, this seemingly ordinary high school youth had already improved to a realm that even she was surprised by. That shot of true qi just now. It actually had such power. How is it? I already said that I will definitely surpass you. Li Fan pointed at Murong-ing. Come, let us continue to fight for 300 rounds. No need. Murong-ing put down her hands and said with a slight smile, this time you win. Really? Li Fan does not believe his ears. Murong-ing actually admitted defeat? Yes, I originally only wanted to use the strength of a higher level to defeat you. Murong-ing openly admitted, but you forced me to use the strength of a higher level, so it can be considered as your victory. How then should we? Your head is always thinking of those messy things. Murong-ing said snappily, I just praised you, and now you are not thinking properly. If you were to use all these messy thoughts on training, you might become stronger. Little girl, training martial arts must be done step by step, steadily and surely. How can you think of advancing by leaps and bounds every day? Humph, using your lewd thoughts as an excuse. How could that be? My wife, you see, aren't the two of us very close? How could I have those lewd thoughts? Then can we cancel the agreement? Murong-ing immediately asked. Wait a minute, I'll take off my pants first. Pervert, I'll kill you. Murong-ing stretched out her hand, and petals of cherry blossom sword qi faintly formed. Hey, my wife, don't be like this. Didn't you say that you will keep your words? But you still haven't completely defeated me. Murong-ing rolled her eyes and then slightly blushed and said, Then you can kiss me. But be gentle, don't disturb the baby. Disturb your sister's baby? You're not even pregnant. Li Fan could not help but ridicule in his heart, but this opportunity cannot be missed. First, let's have a 360-degree fancy kiss. But he must pay attention to control his pure yang body, lest he absorb true qi from Murong-ying's mouth. That would not be good. Li Fan reminded himself, and then slowly walked towards Murong-ing. Murong-ing seemed to be somewhat flustered, and actually closed her eyes. My wife, are you shy? Li Fan recalled the time when the two of them first met. At that time, Murong-ing kissed him so decisively. Looking at now, is she shy? Nonsense. Murong-ing snorted from her throat. When would I be afraid? I just don't want to see your face, I hate you. Then just close your eyes. Li Fan whispered in her ear, It's enough that I like looking at you. Murong-ing seemed to tremble slightly, and began to wait for this long overdue kiss. Chapter 119. Murong-ing closed her eyes and did not dare to use her vital energy to sense the surroundings. It was as if she did not even dare to use her vital energy to touch Li Fan. But the kiss that she was waiting for did not come. Li Fan leaned on her body. This guy, he was too bold. She was the chief of the martial arts circle, how could he be so rude? But he was her fiancé, and also the father of her child. Even if he hugged her, there was nothing wrong with it, but they were not married yet. No, she had to teach him a lesson so that he would know the rules. What are you waiting for, Murong-ing? Go. Murong-ing secretly urged herself, but she did not move for a long time. But what made her feel strange was that Li Fan did not move for a long time, as if he was greedy for her embrace. She felt that something was wrong, so she opened her eyes and found that Li Fan had fallen asleep. He was obviously sleeping soundly, as if no one could disturb him. This guy actually fell asleep at such a crucial time. Murong was so angry that she could not bear it. He made her wait for a long time. But he should be too tired. After all, he fought with her and suffered some injuries. Looking at Li Fan, who was sleeping soundly, Murong could not help but feel a little warm in her heart. This annoying guy would only be serious when he was asleep. Sigh, she did not know whether it was right or wrong for her to find such a childish fiancé. But no matter what the result was, she, Murong, would bear it. This was her own choice, and she would walk down this path. Li Fan was indeed tired. He had experienced 2 big battles in a day and had a breakthrough in his strength. He slept from 6 o'clock that night to 6 o'clock the next morning. After a full 12 hours of sleep, the meridians in Li Fan's body had automatically operated and recovered his vital energy. "You're awake." When Li Fan opened his eyes, he saw Murong sitting beside him. This was strange. In the past, he would see Tai Zhu when he opened his eyes, but today he saw another person. Strange. How did you come out of my dream? Li Fan asked subconsciously. Murong blushed and rolled her eyes at Li Fan. What nonsense are you talking about? I was afraid that you would be haunted by your inner demons at night, so I purposely watched over you. If you suddenly turn into a demon, I will personally kill you to prevent future trouble. My wife. You're too vicious. Li Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. As the saying goes, 100 years of cultivation can be spent on the same bed, and 1,000 years of cultivation can be spent on the same pillow. We've been husband and wife for a lifetime. How can you do this? That's called crossing the same boat for 100 years. Murong's eyes were about to roll to the sky. You're not being serious again. Sooner or later, you'll be eaten by the heart demon. How am I improper? I want to be intimate with my wife. Isn't this the most normal reaction of a man? Li Fan said very seriously, Wife, if I don't have feelings for you, then there's something wrong with me. Do I have to thank you for what you said? That's not necessary. We're a family, so there's no need to be so polite. Li Fan immediately said, How can you be so polite to your own man? That's too much. Go to hell. You're already panting after just a few sentences. Murong was busy rolling her eyes today. When it comes to these useless things, you're especially talkative. Wife, how can you say that? Li Fan sighed deeply. What I said is from the bottom of my heart. I don't want much. Actually, I just want to be able to be together with my wife peacefully and spend the rest of our lives together. That's enough. As a man, how can you be so lacking in ambition? Murong couldn't help but reprimand him. As a man, I naturally know that I have to be strong. Li Fan looked out the window. But ever since I met you, my biggest dream changed. I just want to stay by your side and spend the rest of my life with you. What martial arts alliance leader, #1 in the world, these are just fleeting clouds. As long as I have you, these are really not worth mentioning. Do you really think so? Murong seemed to be touched. That's right. Furthermore, there's something. AI, forget it. Let's not talk about it. What is it? Hurry up and say it. Seeing Li Fan hesitating, Murong subconsciously felt that something was wrong and immediately urged him. Really, I'm ashamed to say it. Hurry up and say it. Actually, yesterday, I fought with Li Wenjue again. Li Fan's eyes were filled with sadness. He trained in the minor formless magic art and injured me, causing a lot of damage to my internal organs. What did you say? Murong's face changed. Li Fan smiled bitterly and said, That's why I was so anxious to defeat you yesterday to fulfill my wish. Why didn't you say it earlier? No matter what, I'm also a man. Li Fan coughed twice. I'm just regretting that I'm so young, but I can't live for long. I'm sorry to my parents. In the end, I didn't even have a son or daughter. You can't die. Murong pulled Li Fan's hand. Li Fan's eyes were filled with tears. I don't want to die. But my own body, I know, I won't let you die. I'll find someone to save you. Murong-ing said and was about to get up. However, Li Fan pulled her back. It's too late. Distant water can't quench present thirst. I just hope that I can leave behind some incense. Don't worry. I'll definitely raise our child into an adult. Murong-ing's eyes seemed to turn red. Li Fan explained. Wife, you might have misunderstood. Kissing can't make you pregnant. Two people can only get pregnant when they sleep together. So that's how it is. Murong-ing nodded her head. You're reaching the end of your lifespan. As your wife, I should leave behind some incense for you. Li Fan was overjoyed. There's a way. There's a way. Wife is really considerate. To have a wife like you, I have no regrets in this life. What more can I ask for? Don't say that. I'll definitely find a way to save you. Although the lesser formless god technique is overbearing, Murong-ing's martial god technique is not to be trifled with. Murong-ing frowned. Her voice had also gone up by an octave. I might not be able to wait for much longer. Li Fan coughed again. Help your husband undress. Must be gentle, Murong-ing immediately said. I will. Also, I want to be on top. Although she did not understand, Murong-ing had heard some of the servants talking about it. But since I can't do it anymore, I'll do as you say. Li Fan kept nodding his head but did not dare to show any impatient look. He was afraid that Murong-ing would see through him. Just a little bit more. You must not fail. Li Fan, you can do it. You're a qualified actor. Besides, this cannot be called cheating. Aren't the two of them husband and wife? This kind of thing, sooner or later, they will have to do it. I'm just trying to take my relationship with Murong-ing a step further. I'm putting in a lot of effort. Just as Murong-ing was about to change her clothes, Li Fan's phone suddenly rang. The phone on the table showed a caller ID. Huang Lei. Chapter 120. Well, don't worry about him. Li Fan wondered why Huang Lei would call him at this time. It was about to happen, okay? Pick it up, let me hear it. Murong-ing said, he is your brother. Before you die, he must want to say something to you. No need, how can a brother be more important than a woman? I don't like to hear this. This is not something a man of the pugilistic world should say. As Murong-ing said this, she had already reached for the phone, picked it up, and put it on speaker. Big brother, today we defeated that Li Wenjue, shouldn't we celebrate? Huang Lei's frivolous voice immediately came through the phone. Big brother, I still have some money. I'll treat you tonight. Let's go to the red light district and visit a prostitute? The corner of Murong-ing's mouth had already hung a smile, and Li Fan began to feel a chill down his spine. Big brother, why aren't you saying anything? If you don't say anything, I'll take it as a silent agreement. Huang Lei's chatterbox continued to nag. Big brother, don't you always complain to me that the tigress at home is too annoying? Brainless, retarded, and overbearing. This time, I'll find you a good one. I guarantee that you'll have a good time to vent. Bam! Li Fan's phone had already been smashed into several pieces by the cherry blossom sword chi, and Li Fan said angrily, yes, wife, good hit. This idiot, I've wanted to scold him for a long time. Every day he wants to take me to a prostitute. Am I that kind of person? I, Li Fan, am a good youth of the new society, a righteous person. How can I tolerate this kind of filthy thing? Really? Murong-ing said lightly, just now, I heard someone say that I'm brainless, retarded, and very overbearing. Nonsense, overbearing. Wife, don't listen to this lowly person's nonsense. Li Fan hurriedly explained, I'm sincere to you, heaven and earth can bear witness. Really? Murong-ing's voice already carried a trace of murderous intent. Li Fan patted his chest. Of course, my wife has always been like a fairy in my heart. I don't know where that Huang Lei heard those rumors from. I'll tie him up later and let my wife beat him to vent your anger. Even so, what about your illness? Murong-ing reached out her hand and forcibly placed it on Li Fan's wrist. Your true qi is stable, without any signs of disorder. Li Fan, I really underestimated you. Your acting skills can win an Oscar. Am I all right? Li Fan was pleasantly surprised. Am I really fine? God, I thought I was going to die for sure. Continue acting. Murong crossed her arms and looked at Li Fan with a faint smile. I'll see how long you can act. Wife, stop messing around. It's getting late. I should go to class. The National Day holiday is over. Li Fan's good days are also coming to an end. Murong curled her lips. Who is the one messing around? This guy is too good at reversing right and wrong. Li Fan, do you think you can go to school in a healthy state? Murong raised her eyebrows. Li Fan's heart swayed. Then, wife, you have to support your husband's studies. Li Fan pulled Murong Ying's sleeve and said, your husband is an ambitious and dedicated person. I know my wife can't bear to leave me, but I still have to fight for our future. When you come back, I'll deal with you. Murong turned around and left Li Fan's room. Li Fan finally let out a sigh of relief. Damn, that was really dangerous. Li Fan couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. He thought to himself, I've finally gotten through this crisis. Damn, I still need to change my phone. But now I'm penniless. A penniless man is no match for a hero. Murong stepped out of the room and called out to the people outside, Master, you must be very careful. Tai Zhu, go home and get my Luo sword from home. This woman wants to take my life tonight. Li Fan sighed. He thought to himself, what should I do with my life? At this time, Tai Zhu pushed open the door and walked in. He neatly placed the clean school uniform in front of Li Fan. Son-in-law, your school uniform and your new phone. Li Fan took a look. It turned out to be an iPhone 6. It's like you're supporting me. That's too high profile. Li Fan was a little uncomfortable. Tai Zhu, what phone are you using? Let's exchange. Looking at Tai Zhu taking out of her too, Li Fan silently put away the iPhone 6. After all, it's the information age. Without a phone, humans are like losing their souls. He put on his card, put on his school uniform, and left. His first stop was to pick up Lin Yuqing. He didn't know what was wrong with this girl. She insisted that he continue pretending to be her boyfriend. Originally, Li Fan was very against this kind of thing. But when he thought of Lin Yuqing's goal of becoming a psychiatrist, Li Fan couldn't help but soften his heart. This girl didn't have it easy. When it's time to help her, I'll help her. Sigh, I'm really too kind. It's really touching. When Li Fan was secretly happy, Lin Yuqing finally came out of the tube-shaped apartment. Very punctual. Bonus points for you. Lin Yuqing suddenly had a small notebook in her hand. She wrote something on it. What's this? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. The score table. Lin Yuqing said very seriously, now you're my boyfriend. Because you're still in the probation period, of course I have to give you points. If you have enough points in the probation period and pass, then you can officially become my boyfriend. If you don't have enough points, then you'll be eliminated. Wait a minute. Li Fan caught the main point. What does probation period boyfriend mean? When did I say that? You might have forgotten, but we are indeed in the probation period. Lin Yuqing coughed dryly. Her eyes looked a little unnatural. In short, this is a set of procedures to treat your mental illness. Don't you want to cooperate with me? You have to abide by my rules. It feels weird. Li Fan lowered his head as if he was thinking about something. Li Fan, your illness hasn't been completely cured. Lin Yin immediately said, you're so young, yet you're already a child husband. Isn't that sick? Li Fan was a little speechless. Lin Yin struck while the iron was hot and continued, moreover, I'm such a beautiful girl, yet you're still picky? I just feel that it's a little sudden. My treatment focuses on the process. Lin Yin said seriously, you haven't experienced the taste of real love yet. That's why your mind is twisted and you're willing to be a child husband. This won't do. As a doctor, I have the responsibility to save you from the fire and water. All right then. Li Fan had a feeling of being tricked. Then what's with this score? Chapter 121. Test score. Lin Yuqing proudly shook the little notebook in her hand. It's a very effective treatment method that I thought of. Why do I feel a little confused? What's there to be confused about? It's very simple. Didn't I just say that you have to get a certain score to become my official boyfriend? Then, can I do it when I become your official boyfriend? Li Fan subconsciously asked this question and then coughed twice. Damn it, why did I say it out loud all of a sudden? Lin Yuhsin's face instantly turned red. She reached out her hand as if she wanted to pinch Li Fan. But her hand reached out and then retracted back. If it's an official boyfriend and girlfriend, after spending some time together, this kind of thing is not impossible. Really, really? Li Fan's eyes lit up. There's a chance. After all, I'm not that old-fashioned. Nowadays, relationships between men and women are not so rigid. As long as you're willing to marry me, some things can be done in advance. Lin Yuhsin nodded. I mean what I said. I won't say anything that doesn't mean what I said. However, I see that you don't seem to be very willing to accompany me to see a doctor. I think it's better not to force you. After all, a forced melon won't be sweet. Dr. Lin, how can you say that? Li Fan immediately said seriously, you're someone who wants to become a psychologist. How can this kind of small hardship stump you? I'm testing you and training you to see if you can break through all the obstacles and knock down the evil demon of illness. That means you're willing? I'm willing, of course I'm willing. Li Fan nodded repeatedly. To be able to help Dr. Lin grow is my duty and honor. I have to thank you? Don't be so polite. You're treating me like an outsider. Li Fan puffed out his chest. As an advanced student in the school, it's our duty to help the underachievers. Screw you, you're the underachiever. Lin Yuhsin rolled her eyes. You're lying with a straight face. I really admire you. That's because Dr. Lin taught him well. What training? That's called treatment. Yes, cure him. Li Fan nodded heavily. That's exactly what I meant. How many points do I need to pass? If you want to enter the official phase from the internship phase, you have to reach 100 points. Lin Yuhsin pointed at the notebook. If I get 0 points, we can only say goodbye. Don't. How many points do I have now? Your basic score is 10. Lin Yuhsin said one by one, you're very punctual today. Not bad, 2 more points. However, your hair is still so messy and not tidied up. 2 points will be deducted from your image. So you're still 10 points. Only 10 points? Li Fan was a bit disappointed. Can't you give me more? That will depend on your own performance. Lin Yuhsin giggled. If you perform well, you'll get 100 points sooner or later. Do your best, young man. I'm optimistic about you. Thank you. Li Fan was under a lot of pressure. He felt as if he had fallen into Lin Yuhsin's trap. Along the way, the young lady was very happy. She kept telling Li Fan about what happened during the holidays. I'm just a middle school tuition student. He actually wants me to be his girlfriend. The Shota is quite cute. You don't even let off a middle school student. Li Fan pedaled his bicycle. His face sunk. An old cow eating young grass animal. Go to hell. You're the animal. Lin Yuhsin pinched Li Fan. I just think this kid is cute. Stop it. How can a middle school student be cute? What era do you think we're in? Li Fan reminded Lin Yuhsin. Give him a chance and he'll sleep with you. Go, go, go. Your thinking is so evil. Lin Yuhsin said angrily. Based on your thinking, this world is so scary. Anyway, you should be more careful. Don't drink the water that he gave you. Li Fan reminded her again. Don't worry. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm still vigilant. Lin Yuhsin hugged Li Fan's waist. She giggled. Are you jealous? Of course I'm jealous. I'm very jealous. Li Fan didn't deny it. Right now, we're in turning boyfriend and girlfriend. This is called striking the bell as long as you're a monk. Strike your sister. You're the monk. What kind of metaphor is that? How did you learn your language? Lin Yuhsin rolled her eyes. I'll definitely learn Chinese from Teacher Lin. Li Fan said immediately. That's more like it. Lin Yuhsin hesitated for a moment before asking softly. Li Fan, let me ask you a question. You must answer me seriously. You're asking the wrong person. I've always been a very serious person. I don't like to joke around. Cut it out, Lin Yuhsin spat and asked, Let me ask you, do you like me? Li Fan was stunned. Why would Lin Yun suddenly ask such a question? This wasn't like her. Don't misunderstand. This is a discussion about your illness. Lin Yun immediately emphasized, I need to know your current psychological condition. All right. Li Fan thought for a moment. I don't think I like you. But I have a good impression of you. Humph. Lin Yuhsin snorted heavily. She was the campus belle. The number of boys chasing after her could line up from the second high school to the neighboring county. But this Li Fan actually said that he only had a good impression of her. Although Li Fan had such a beautiful fiancée. But there was a big gap between the two of them. There would definitely be few common topics. Sooner or later, Li Fan would fall in love with her. Lin Yuhsin secretly vowed in her heart. When Li Fan arrived at school, the class was still the same as usual. Some were busy copying homework and some were busy catching up on sleep. He saw Deng Siwei at a glance. This guy was talking loudly at first. But when he saw Li Fan coming in, he immediately quieted down and lowered his head to do the paper. Isn't this Deng Siwei classmate Deng? Li Fan looked at him with a smile and said, I remember you said you wanted to eat shit. How about it? Do you want to eat it hot or cold? We're all classmates. As long as you say something, I'll get it for you. I'm a selfless Lei Feng. I love to help others. Deng Siwei gritted her teeth. This damn Li Fan. Who would have thought that he actually passed all 5 exams? What's the matter, classmate Deng? Are you still a man? Li Fan looked at Deng Siwei and asked, What's the matter? Are you going to break your promise? Chapter 122. What breach of contract? Deng Siwei starts to act shamelessly. With your results, if you have the ability, then do better than me. If you can't beat me, what ability do you have? Deng Siwei, as a man, your words are like nails on the board. Li Fan sneers. Although your results are not bad, you can't even be considered as a man. With your conduct, no wonder Lin Yun doesn't like you. Nonsense. If she doesn't like me, do you think she will like you? Deng Siwei becomes angry. I am Deng Siwei, the second-ranked man in the school. You just passed the passing mark. What qualifications do you have to compete with me? I am the teacher's darling. In the future, I will be able to enter a famous university. When I become successful and become a white-collared worker, you can only muddle through your days, eating and waiting to die. Do you think someone who doesn't study well is worthy to bet with me? Deng Siwei, how can you speak like that? How did we offend you because we don't study well? You are too arrogant. Some of the students who didn't study well are immediately unhappy. This Deng Siwei is too arrogant. She is shooting all over the place and bombarding a group of people. What are you shouting for? What qualifications do you have to shout at me? Deng Siwei roars, Be careful that I tell the teacher that you all ganged up to bully me. Let's see if you all have a good ending. You bunch of scum. You are not worthy to be in the same classroom as me. Bang. Li Fan's fist has already landed heavily on the desk in front of Deng Siwei. This desk immediately breaks into pieces, scaring Deng Siwei so much that she almost peed in her pants. Your fart is too smelly. I can't help but want to beat you up. Li Fan has scared Deng Siwei badly. Deng Siwei, your results are good, but it doesn't mean that you are better than others. Li Fan needs his fist as he coldly looks at Deng Siwei. Even if our starting points are different, we are all equal. As for what the future will be like, it is not up to you, and it is also not up to me. If there really is a day in the future, I, Li Fan, will not eat a single mouthful of rice from you. He pointed at Deng Siwei. If I hear another word of contempt coming out of your mouth, I'll crush your rotten teeth. You dare to threaten me. Deng Siwei took a few deep breaths. Li Fan laughed. Yes, I threatened you. How about it? Go and tell your teacher, you idiot. However, we can't guarantee that you'll still have your limbs intact after telling the teacher. Bai Lin Luo sat in his seat, calmly pushed up his glasses and muttered. Li Fan, you can beat him up right now. We can't see it anyway. So what if he's good at studying? Maybe he copied it. That's right, plagiarist dog. The surrounding students had long been angered by Deng Siwei's words and were shouting one after another. All of you are talking nonsense. I never plagiarize. Deng Siwei was about to cry. I relied on my own results. Saying that I plagiarized? Which eye of yours saw that? All of you are framing me. It's jealousy. Deng Siwei, you don't have the right to say such words. When Li Fan heard Deng Siwei said so, he immediately curled his lips. How did you start a rumor about me in the past? Just because I scored better than you in history, it's considered plagiarism? Who gave you the right to start a rumor? Which eye of yours saw that? Deng Siwei was speechless. Li Fan crossed his arms and looked at her coldly. Deng Siwei, God is watching. No matter how good your results are, you're just a scum. Li Fan, if you have the guts, we'll see in 10 years. Deng Siwei said fiercely. 10 years later, I want you to hug my thighs and lick me. There's no need for 10 years. 5 years is enough. Li Fan stretched out his hand. I'm an easygoing person. If you want to gamble, I'll play with you till the end. The teacher is here. A student at the door reminded him. Li Fan looked at Deng Siwei a few more times before returning to his seat. Chang Chuanxi walked in and saw the broken desk in front of Deng Siwei. He asked in surprise, Deng Siwei, what happened to the desk? The corner of Deng Siwei's mouth twitched slightly. She then gritted her teeth and said, Teacher Chang, the desk is not very sturdy. Go back to the logistics department and get another one. Make do with your desk mate first. Chang Chuanxi was undoubtedly very tolerant of Deng Siwei. He picked up his book and began to teach without even looking at Li Fan. It seemed that the school had begun to adopt a Cold War attitude towards Li Fan. At present, they did not care about him. However, Li Fan knew that things were definitely not that simple. The principal had a blood feud with him. He would never tolerate the fact that his son was beaten up. There's a new English teacher today. Everyone, let's welcome her. After a language class, someone knocked on the classroom door. Chang Chuanxi went out to take a look. He then turned back and said to the students, Your previous teacher is pregnant. She can't teach you for the time being. The students started to discuss. Who was the new teacher? Would she be too strict? Sigh, it would be good if it was a beauty. Wang Chang chuckled. His voice was quite loud. Chang Chuanxi heard it, but he did not say anything. After all, Wang Chang's background was also very strong. Chang Chuanxi did not want to provoke such a student. Just as everyone was discussing, a young beauty wearing black-rimmed glasses walked into the classroom. This beauty had ear-length short hair. She was wearing a white shirt and a black lily skirt. Although it looked simple, it had a scholarly elegance. As she walked in, the boys all swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Beauty, this was a great beauty. Even Li Fan was a little surprised. What was going on recently? Why were there so many beauties running to the school recently? He muttered in his heart, Murong Ing came for me. Could it be that this beautiful teacher also came for me? I really like to daydream. This will be your teacher from now on. Teacher Liao, please introduce yourself. Even Chang Chuanxi's eyes were filled with greed when he looked at this beautiful teacher Liao. After all, she was a beauty. Everyone would think about her. But for a beauty like Murong Ing, Chang Chuanxi could only have some thoughts in his heart. He did not even dare to look at her. If one glance made her unhappy and he lost his job, wouldn't that be bad luck? And this teacher Liao was just an ordinary teacher. He was a director. Perhaps he could win her favor. Hello everyone. I am your new teacher. This teacher Liao seemed to be very shy. She lowered her head and introduced herself. I am Liao Wushuang. Wushuang. Such a domineering name. It doesn't resemble the teacher's temperament at all. Teacher, do you have a boyfriend? The students started to jeer, causing Liao Wushuang's face to turn red. Chang Chuanxi coughed twice and scolded, Be quiet for a moment. What are you making noise for? Teacher Liao, ignore them. They are all a bunch of stinking brats. By the way, I have not introduced myself. My name is Chang Chuanxi, unmarried. Chapter 123. This Chang Chuanxi is the one who has no moral integrity. Li Fan couldn't help but curl his lips. What kind of person is this? This is too fucked up. With this, he still has the nerve to call himself a teacher. This is an English class. Chang Chuanxi said a lot of words before leaving. With a beautiful teacher teaching, the students listened attentively. Li Fan didn't expect that these students could be so interested in learning. Even a few students who usually sleep in class are now staring at the teacher with full attention. The power of a beauty is extraordinary. If every woman in this world is a beauty, perhaps the world will be more harmonious. The human gene is still not perfect. I hope that one day, everyone is handsome and beautiful. How harmonious that would be. Li Fan didn't pay attention to the class. His mind is in a mess. At this time, the new teacher noticed him and suddenly asked, "Student, what's your name?" Li Fan has already thought about what to eat tonight. When Liao Wushuang called him, he didn't answer. Everyone's eyes are focused on Li Fan. The boys are a bit jealous. The new teacher actually paid attention to Li Fan. This is too unfair. "Student." The bespectacled boy quickly nudged Li Fan with his elbow. Only then did Li Fan wake up. "Teacher, you called me?" Li Fan said, "Is this new teacher going to ask me a question? What did she just say?" "Student." Why are you squatting over there? Why aren't you sitting down?" Liao Wushuang seems to be in natural daze. She innocently asked, "Student, do you have hemorrhoids or something?" A black line appeared on Li Fan's head. The nearby students are muttering. "Aya, damn, how did the teacher know?" Teacher Liao is a fortune teller. Does the world know that Li Fan has hemorrhoids? Who has hemorrhoids? When Li Fan wanted to explain, the class just ended. For the first time, Li Fan felt that the bell is so ear-piercing. Teacher Liao has already walked out of the classroom with her books and glasses. Fuck, no, I have to go up and explain. Li Fan hated being misunderstood the most. He immediately chased after her, wanting to explain to Liao Wushuang. Unexpectedly, when he went out, he found out that Wang Chang is already there. At this time, Wang Chang is standing in the corridor, blocking Liao Wushuang's way. "Teacher Liao, can we talk?" "Student, is there something you don't understand?" Liao Wushuang thought that Wang Chang had encountered difficulties in learning English, so she kindly asked. Yes, I have a very difficult problem that I can't figure out. Teacher Liao, please teach me well. Of course. If there's anything you don't know, just ask me. Teacher, of Wang, there are too many people here and it is inconvenient to study. Teacher, there are too many people here. It's not convenient to study. Why don't we find a quiet place? Is the office okay? There are other teachers in the office. It is inconvenient. Wang Chang smiled, stretched out his hand and grabbed Liao Wushuang's wrist. I booked a suite in a 5-star hotel. It is very secluded and the environment is good. It will guarantee a better learning efficiency. This, student? This is not possible. Liao Wushuang tried to get rid of Wang Chang's entanglement, but Wang Chang brought 2 strong brothers and surrounded Liao Wushuang. She can't leave for a while. Teacher Liao, you just came to this school. You might not know the rules of this school. Wang Chang smiled. Teacher Liao, us teachers and students can study it in depth. At this moment, Li Fan walked over from behind and kicked Wang Chang's butt, causing Wang Chang to lie on the wall. Fuck, why are you always blocking the way? Li Fan put one hand in his pocket and the other hand dug his ear. He looked at Wang Chang and scolded, Did you change your name to Toyota Prado? Yes, it's my fault. Wang Chang wanted to get angry, but seeing that it was Li Fan, he obediently held back his temper and obediently moved to the side. The 2 followers also quickly moved away. No one dared to provoke Li Fan, this god of plague. There were so many people in the school, but none of them could beat Li Fan. Who do they think they are? Liao Wushuang took the opportunity to leave. Her footsteps were somewhat hurried as if she was afraid. Be good. Remember not to block the way next time. Li Fan patted Wang Chang's shoulder. Wang Chang still had to smile apologetically. Brother Li, how about I treat you to a French feast tonight? Not interested. Li Fan rolled his eyes. You're a Chinese man, why do you eat a French feast every day? If you have nothing to do, just eat mala tang. With that, Li Fan no longer paid attention to this pervert and turned around to leave. Student, this student. Just as Li Fan turned a corner, Liao Wushuang chased after him and called out to Li Fan. Teacher Liao, what's the matter? Li Fan is somewhat baffled. Why is this beautiful new teacher looking for me? Thank you for helping me out. Liao Wushuang is indeed somewhat shy. When she speaks to Li Fan, her voice is very weak. You're welcome. Just be careful in the future. Li Fan did not take it seriously. Helping Liao Wushuang is just something he did out of convenience. He suddenly thought of something and slapped himself on the forehead. Oh yeah, Teacher Liao, I forgot to tell you. I don't have hemorrhoids. Ah. Hearing Li Fan said that, Liao Wushuang comforted him. It's okay. A lot of guys are embarrassed to admit it. After all, I'm older than you and have seen a lot. You don't have to be ashamed in front of a teacher. Seen your sister? Have you seen hemorrhoids on a man's butt? Besides, I don't have hemorrhoids. Teacher, I really don't have hemorrhoids. Li Fan wanted to explain, but Liao Wushuang stretched out a finger and pressed it on Li Fan's mouth. You don't need to say anything. Teacher understands. Teacher will not dislike you. You will always be teacher's obedient student. Obedient your head. What kind of teacher is this? Can't you let me finish my words? Student, your name is Li Fan, right? Liao Wushuang glanced at the attendance list. I see that your English is okay. If you need to improve it, you can contact me. I opened a remedial class. You should come and tutor me. I guarantee that after a month, your English will be able to improve to 130 points. That good? Li Fan was a bit surprised. This woman is too confident. Even Lin Yuten would not dare to say this. Of course. After all, English is my strength. At this time, Liao Wushuang's face finally showed some confidence. Today you helped me. I can give you a 50% discount for my remedial class. Li Fan wanted to cry but no tears came out. He is now extremely poor. Where would he find the money for remedial class? Let's talk about it another day, Teacher Liao. I'm leaving first, bye-bye. But Li Fan did not know that Wang Chang is hiding in the corner, secretly watching them. His eyes were red with hatred. Chapter 124. Too much. This is too much. Wang Chang sat in the KTV, angrily drinking a large mouthful of red wine. Beside him, two beauties were leaning on his embrace and acting coquettishly. Young Master Wang, don't be angry. Come, I'll accompany you to drink. The beauty on the left kept sending wine into Wang Chang's mouth, but was pushed away by Wang Chang. Scram, don't annoy me. Wang Chang kicked the woman away. The woman lowered her head, not daring to make a sound. After all, everyone here knew that Wang Chang was not to be trifled with. Not to mention kicking. Sometimes these people would slap him in the face in anger, but they could only endure it. Some women could not bear to do so, but those women were destined to not earn money here. The first lesson their mother had taught them was how to endure. Only by enduring could one earn money. As Wang Chang lost his temper, a noble young master sat beside him. He was dressed in an elegant French famous brand, and his right hand was playing with a string of Vajrabodhi. Wang Chang, why are you in such a bad mood today? It's rare for me to bring you to a good place. The noble young master asked as he hugged a beautiful girl and enjoyed her kiss. This is too much of a bully, really. Wang Chang complained. Young Master Yang, you don't know. I'm being bullied to the point that I can't stay here anymore. Our young Master Wang is quite famous in a city. His family background is so strong, and he's also my friend. Who would dare to bully you? Speaking of which, it's depressing. Wang Chang said angrily, I don't know where this Li Fan came from in our school, but his martial arts are amazing. I found a few people, but they were all taken care of by him. Now, he has become my school's new little overlord. He even cares if I pick up a girl, and he even beats and kicks me whenever he wants. Don't you think he's bullying people? He's just a brute, don't worry about it. Young Master Yang laughed. Let my family send 2 experts to help you deal with him, isn't that enough? Tell me, do you want one of his hands or one of his legs? Young Master Yang, this kid does have some skills. Wang Chang quickly said, "Last time, I hired a professional fighter, but it was useless." "Hired a fighter? No, 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 it's not elegant at all." Young Master Yang chuckled. "There are 100 elegant ways to deal with such people. Is young Master Yang willing to avenge me?" Wang Chang immediately became happy. "If that's the case, then that's great. In a city, young Master Yang can't mess with anyone he wants." "That's too much. You're making me sound like a local tyrant." As young Master Yang spoke, he poured a glass of red wine onto the chest of the girl beside him. The wine drenched her shirt and revealed her purple underwear. Under young Master Yang's signal, another girl rode on top of her and then licked the wine off her chest with her tongue. Seeing the two girls' wild actions, young Master Yang was very satisfied. It was as if he was watching a movie as he watched the two girls licking him. "Tomorrow, I promise to make that Li Fan disappear from your campus." "Then I thank young Master Yang in advance. Here's to you." Wang Chang raised his wine cup and sighed with emotion. "After I settle this brat, I can chase after the new director of our school. This woman is really beautiful. She can be considered the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. To be able to have sex with her once, it's worth it to lose 10 years of my life. Look at you, we're all out to play. What kind of beautiful woman haven't we seen before?" Young Master Yang chuckled. "For example, my fiancée. Even if she's a little beautiful, so what? Which woman around me isn't beautiful? These women are spoiled." "Young Master Yang, you haven't seen that woman?" "Really, I've played with a lot of women over the years, but this is the first time I've seen that kind of strength. It's indescribable. Sooner or later, you'll die on a woman." Young Master Yang mocked. "All right, I guarantee that you'll get the beauty back." Then I'll borrow young Master Yang's auspicious words. Now that Wang Chang had a backer, he was overjoyed. He was just waiting for Li Fan to be killed by him. At this time, Li Fan was accompanying Lin Yunten to go shopping. Although it was said to be going shopping, it was actually just accompanying Lin Yunten to buy a cake. "What is Andy like? As her prospective son-in-law, shouldn't I give her something?" Li Fan followed behind Lin Yunten and pretended to ask. Lin Yunten was in the cake shop looking at the dazzling array of cakes in the cupboard. Hearing what Li Fan said, she didn't even raise her head and said, "My mom likes money, so just give her money." For a moment, Li Fan didn't know how to continue the conversation. This was too direct. "I know. Auntie is a bit of a gold digger. Let me correct you. That's not called a little, that's called very good." Lin Yunten didn't hide this point. "I especially admire my mom for being such a gold digger. Especially these 2 years, she's been telling me to marry a rich tycoon every day. My ears are about to grow calluses. Then how can a poor dwarf like me enter Auntie's eyes?" "It's good that you know your place," Lin Yunten said as she took out a small notebook and recorded the new points. "Because you're not confident enough, deduct 2 points. Fuck. Li Fan hurriedly said, "How am I not confident enough? I wake up every morning because of my own handsomeness, okay? Excessive narcissism, deduct another 2 points. Fuck you, don't you have any bonus points?" Li Fan was about to collapse. How could he continue? "I can have bonus points." Lin Yunten chose a 6-inch big cake and took out a few brand new 100 yuan from her pocket. "Let's see your performance." "I suddenly feel that you're very rich. I just got my tuition fee today." Lin Yunten was a little proud. It's that junior high school student. His father also likes me and said that I'm very outstanding, which improved his son's results. Our family's teacher Lin's level needs no praise. Li Fan hurriedly flattered. Not to mention our private second high school in the entire city, how many have better results than you? In this joint examination, I reckon you're going to get first place again. Every time I think that such an outstanding girl is actually my girlfriend, I'm so happy that I can wake up in my sleep. Your sweet talk is not bad. I'll give you 1 point. Lin Yunten added another stroke in her notebook. Li Fan made a bitter face. I've talked until my mouth is dry, and only 1 point. What, you think it's too much? No, 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 I'll continue to work hard. Li Fan hurriedly said. Well, that's right. You're becoming more and more like a boyfriend. Lin Yin nodded her head in satisfaction, but your outfit is too outrageous. Let's go, we have a lot of time. I'll take you to buy clothes. Chapter 125. Don't mess around, I'm not living off a woman. Li Fan was immediately unhappy. How can I let you buy me clothes? You're my boyfriend, I have the responsibility to make you look more handsome. Lin Yusin said, don't worry, the employer gave me a 200 yuan bonus. This 200 yuan is originally for your image design fee, it's not much, don't be a male chauvinist. If you're a male chauvinist, I'll deduct points for you. Carrying the cake for Lin Yun, Li Fan was still not comfortable, muttering, that's not comfortable either. I have hands and feet, why should I let you pay for me? See, you're a male chauvinist. Lin Yun stretched out her hand and poked Li Fan's forehead. Then do you have money? If you have money, spend it yourself. I'm planning to bring you back to see my mother today. Li Fan was stunned for a moment. You're not kidding, right? Aren't you looking for trouble? I've already thought about it. Lin Yun said very seriously, we're being sneaky, it's not going to work sooner or later. I'll let you meet my mother, try to leave a good impression on her. Okay, I'll definitely perform well. Li Fan said, since Lin Yun had already decided he could only raise both his hands to support her. I'll definitely show my spirit and make Auntie think that I'm an excellent student. No, you can't say that you're a student. Lin Yun suddenly stopped Li Fan. You have to say that you're a university student. Moreover, your family has a lot of assets. Li Fan was stunned for a moment. It was obvious that Lin Yun's words had exceeded his expectations. Rich second generation? Yes, in short, that's it. Lin Yun nodded. This can't be helped. You have to let your mother accept you first. But this is a lie. Li Fan felt that something was not quite right. It's just a delaying tactic. Lin Yun rolled her eyes at Li Fan. Do you think I want that? The neighbors have already found out that you came to pick me up and send me home. If you don't reveal your identity, it will be difficult for us to be together again. This is how difficult it is to move from the underground to the surface. Li Fan sighed deeply. But I don't want to lie. What should I do? Did you forget? Don't you have a billiard hall? Lin Yun had already made up her mind, so she immediately said, just say that you have a family business. The business brand is the sports category. Damn, this is the first time I've seen you talk nonsense like this. Li Fan almost knelt down. It can't be helped. If you help me this time, I'll give you 10 points. What do you think? Lin Yun began to tempt Li Fan. But I'll pay for the clothes myself. Recently, the billiard hall had some income. The billiard league was doing well, and the business was booming. He took out 500 yuan from his pocket. This was what he took from the billiard hall, and he planned to use it as a month's allowance. Okay, you can pay for it yourself. Let's go, I'll bring you to buy some nice clothes. With that, Lin Yun grabbed Li Fan's sleeve and led him out of the cake shop. Li Fan originally thought that she was going to bring him to some fancy place, but he didn't expect that she would bring him to a night market and start shopping. The night market was very lively. Every night, there were many vendors who came out to set up their stalls. They were all selling cheap goods. Buy here. Nonsense, what else can I buy with such a small amount of money? Lin Yun said matter-of-factly, we still have to live, okay? If we don't save up, we'll starve. Thinking of her father, who was still spending money like water in the hospital, and thinking of his own poor life, Li Fan didn't say anything. Boss, how much is this coat? Lin Yun's eyes lit up when she saw a dark brown coat in a stall. 600, no bargaining. The boss said casually as he picked at his toes. Boss, your coat is not authentic and you're selling it for 600? Are you kidding me? Lin Yun couldn't help but roll her eyes. Little girl, don't talk nonsense if you don't know. This is a brand, do you know Armani? Fuck. Li Fan couldn't help but complain. I've only heard of Armani. This is the first time I've heard of Armani. Young man, what are you yelling about? This is a brother brand of Armani. The boss continued to pick at his toes and said casually, it's very popular in France. Boss, You're selling an imitation at such a high price. Will anyone buy it? Lin Yueson raised a finger. 100. I'll take it away immediately. Stop it, little girl. The boss pursed his lips. 100. This coat is made of good material. I can't even get the goods, okay? Including the shirt and trousers, it's 250. I can't go any higher. Lin Yun didn't care about what the boss said. She pointed at the two coats and said in one go. Little girl, you can't get down. Oh, forget it. Li Fan, let's go. Lin Yun pulled Li Fan and turned to leave. Little girl, don't go. We can negotiate. 220. Lin Yun turned around and raised two fingers. Fuck, why is it getting lower? Little girl, you're too ruthless. Li Fan, let's go. Fine. 220 for you. Li Fan was stunned. Fuck, she really cut it off. The boss said to him as he took the coat, Young man, your girlfriend is amazing. Yeah. I don't even dare to speak loudly. Li Fan laughed dryly as Lin Yun pinched him. The coat is almost done. I'll help you choose a pair of shoes. Lin Yun spent another 200 to help Li Fan choose a good pair of shoes. This set of shoes cost a total of 420. After Li Fan changed into the shoes, Lin Yun wrapped the uniform around him. The coat can be a little worse, but the leather shoes must be of high quality. My mom has a sharp eye. She can tell at a glance if you're wearing a bad quality shoe. Listening to Lin Yun's words, Li Fan muttered in his heart. 200 yuan shoes are of high quality? But Lin Yuhsian's mother probably didn't see anything good, so it should be easy to deal with. What are you doing? Helping you with your hair. Lin Yun said as she took out a comb and scissors from her bag. Are you going to cut my hair yourself? Of course. Won't it look like a dog gnawing on it? Fuck you. My skills are quite good. I usually cut my hair at home and save a lot of money. Be honest and don't move your head around. Be careful or it will really look like a dog gnawing on it. In the corner of the night market, Lin Yun faced the streetlight and cut Li Fan's hair. 10 minutes later, Lin Yun finally put away the scissors. It's done. Lin Yun put down the scissors, patted Li Fan's hair, and then tore off his uniform. Two girls with heavy makeup passed by, and one of them with big breasts winked at Li Fan. Do you want to play handsome? Chapter 126. What nonsense are you flirting with? He's mine. Lin Yun immediately glared at them fiercely like a mother hen protecting her chick. So stingy. What a pity for a handsome young man. The two women rolled their eyes and turned to leave. Randomly flirting with other women, deduct 2 points. Lin Yun was jealous and was about to deduct points for Li Fan, but Li Fan hurriedly pulled her back. What the fuck, my Miss Lin? I didn't do anything. Li Fan shouted that he was wronged. This had nothing to do with him. I'll let you off this time. Lin Yun reminded Li Fan, in the future, if you meet this kind of shady woman, you must reject them righteously, understand? Don't hesitate, don't delay. Yes, I understand. Li Fan was helpless. Women are unreasonable. Then perform well. If you perform well tonight, you will get a lot of points. Don't you think your words are particularly ambiguous? Go to hell, if you talk nonsense again, I'll deduct points. I was wrong. Li Fan bowed his head and admitted his mistake. It really feels like someone is pinching his soft spot. This wretched little book, this wretched point system. Really too hateful. Now like this, at least you pass. Lin Yun circled around Li Fan twice, and then nodded with satisfaction. You can be considered to be a dog. Damn, you're a good student. Why are your words so harsh? Li Fan was depressed to death. How can there be such a bad boyfriend? I look so spirited, how can you say that I'm a dog? After dressing up, Li Fan is indeed spirited, somewhat has the demeanor of a rich family's disciple. Moreover, Lin Yun's skills were not bad. She combed Li Fan's hair neatly and energetically. It was the complete opposite of his messy hair from before. I came to visit like this? Are you sure it's a surprise for Auntie's birthday and not a shock? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. You're such a busybody. Lin Yun couldn't help but roll her eyes. I told you, as long as you say you're, a rich second generation, my mom will definitely welcome you. Forget it, how can there be such a mother? Li Fan didn't quite believe it, but half an hour later he did. Come in. The room is small, sorry for the inconvenience. When they arrived at the tube-shaped apartment, Yuan Chunli enthusiastically invited Li Fan inside. Not knowing what Lin Yueqin told Yuan Chunli in advance, now Yuan Chunli looked at Li Fan's eyes as if she couldn't wait to eat him. She invited Li Fan into the house. What was different from before was that this small house was especially clean today, and it was almost spotless. Li Fan felt as if he was the VIP of this family. Yuan Chunli's enthusiasm made him slightly unable to bear. Auntie, I'm really sorry. I came in a hurry and didn't prepare any gift for you. Li Fan respectfully greeted Yuan Chunli according to the script he had written in advance. How could I? I'm already very happy that you can come. Yuan Chunli smilingly looked at Li Fan, but why do I think you look a little familiar? Ah, because he appeared on TV several times. You may have seen him on TV. Lin Yueqin quickly explained. So that's how it is. It seems that your family's sports brand is doing well, right? Auntie has seen the results. They are all small brands, incomparable to Nike, Adidas, and so on. Li Fan had already deviated from the script and began to talk nonsense. Nowadays it's very difficult to make a domestic brand. My father wants me to study management, and after a few years, I'll go abroad to further my studies and see how foreigners do brands. Lin Yueqin repeatedly glared at Li Fan from behind, meaning not to talk too much. The more he talked, the easier it was to be exposed. Don't ask too much. He doesn't like people asking about these things. Lin Yueqin could only control her mother's side. Yuan Chunli quickly nodded. I'm old and my mouth is too loose. Okay, I won't say any more. By the way, Xiao Fan, how did you meet our family's moon immortal? Lin Yueqin was about to collapse. How could she ignore her own mother's gossipy heart? He tutored my brother, and that's how we got to know each other. Li Fan suddenly said with some sadness. But Moon Immortal and I started off as friends, and I hope to have my own business one day. My family is very strict with me, and they want me to marry a girl of equal status after I graduate from university. Auntie, you tell me, isn't that old-fashioned? Old-fashioned? Yuan Chunli fiercely nodded and said, What era is this? How can they be so old-fashioned? Don't worry, Auntie is very open-minded. As long as you two are good friends, Auntie will not object. Yuan Chunli couldn't be happier. Her biggest wish in this life was for her daughter to marry into a rich family. She could bear hardships and she could be tired, but her daughter must live a good life. Thank you, Auntie. I will definitely take good care of Moon Immortal. Li Fan said very sincerely, but for the time being, I still want to focus on my own business. I'm currently independent from my family, and I have to rely on myself for everything. Recently, the sports industry that I've invested in has some small success. Next year, I plan to expand the scale and open 2 more branches. To have such achievements at such a young age, you're really young and promising. Yuan Chunli asked again, Xiao Fan, where is your shop? Lin Yueqin was a little nervous. She felt that she had miscalculated one thing, and that was miscalculating a mother's curiosity. This question, they didn't go through the booklet beforehand. Could it be that Li Fan had leaked it? Currently, it's still a small shop at Linjiang Road. Li Fan's answer was very neat. Because Linjiang Road sold sports equipment, there were many shops. Then how much can you earn in a month? Yuan Chunli casually asked as she poured tea for Li Fan. This question. She actually came. Li Fan and Lin Yueqin had indeed considered whether Yuan Chunli would ask this question. But they didn't expect her to be so direct. Just like how Lin Yueqin commented on her own mother, this middle-aged woman was indeed a bit materialistic. The pressure of life had forcefully changed Yuan Chunli's worldview. About 100,000 a month. Li Fan didn't dare to say too much, but he didn't dare to say too little either. This was 10 times the monthly income of the billiard hall when it was at its peak. It's just a little bit of money. I'm sorry to make you laugh at me, No, no, it's already a lot. Yuan Chunli thought to herself, this young man is really humble. Auntie, I don't know what to give you for your birthday. Li Fan was still addicted to acting and casually said, I'm preparing to send you on a trip. Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, you can choose. Lin Yuhsn's eyes widened. Chapter 127. Aya, how can I accept this? Yuan Chunli's eyes were smiling. How can I accept your things? It's your birthday, you're the boss. Li Fan laughed. Tell me where to go or we can all go, I'll pay for all the expenses. You see, it's not easy for you to be exposed to the sun and wind every day, it's time for you to relax. All right then, I won't be unreasonable then. Li Fan did not expect Yuan Chunli to really agree. Xiao Fan, give me a date, I'll just rest for 2 days, but not too long, just a week will do. If it's too long, the family's business will be neglected. Li Fan was dumbfounded. What the heck, she really agreed. What to do now, to go to Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, how much money would that cost? I have to think of a way to smooth things over. Auntie, if Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand is too far, we can change to a closer place. Beijing or Shanghai is fine too. No problem, it's not too far. Yuan Chunli said with a smile, I'll let old Li next door look after the stall for 2 days, we'll split the earnings, he's more than happy to do so. As long as Auntie is happy, Li Fan was about to break down, Lin Yun kept rolling her eyes, and Yuan Chunli had already started to ponder. Aya, is it hot in Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, what should I wear? Looking at Lin Yun's eyes, it was obvious that she was saying, let's see how you clean up this mess. Clean up my ass, tears are already flowing all over the floor. But now he could only swallow the bitterness. Li Fan still had to act out the script. Xiao Fan, drink some wine. Yuan Chunli specially bought a small dining table and placed the dishes she made herself on it. She also took out a bottle of wine from the cabinet. Looking at it, Lin Yun was a little surprised. This was a bottle of Maodai left by his father. His mother could not bear to drink it. She actually took it out today. It was too unbelievable. Auntie, I'm not good at drinking. What a good boy. Auntie likes people who don't drink. However, today is a special day. Let's drink 2 cups. Auntie will drink with you. As Yuan Chunli spoke, she even personally poured wine for Li Fan. Li Fan was so frightened that he hurriedly took the wine bottle and filled it up for himself before filling it up for Yuan Chunli. He was so nervous that he ignored the look that Lin Yun was giving him. Yuan Chunli also seemed to be very happy. She exchanged toasts with Li Fan and drank several cups in a short while. This kind of Maodai wine, which had been stored for a long time, was very strong. Even if Li Fan had practiced martial arts, he couldn't help but feel a little drunk at this time. The wine rushed to the top of his head. Let's drink this cup. Yuan Chunli raised her wine glass and clinked it with Li Fan's. When I'm at Auntie's house, it's like I'm at home. I like rich young men like you. I'm happy that you and the Moon Immortal are together. Auntie, don't worry. I'll definitely treat the Moon Immortal well in the future. Li Fan also drank too much. His words began to be out of tune. I promise to serve her like how I serve Mom. Serve your sister. You drank too much. You're not allowed to drink anymore. Lin Yun pulled Li Fan's hand. What are you doing? Yuan Chunli was the first to panic. She glared at her daughter. How can you talk to your future husband like that? When adults drink, don't interrupt. Go to your homework. Lin Yun almost cried. Why should I do my homework? The 2 of you are going to heaven. Brother, sister is telling you. Women, you can't just dote on them. You have to manage them. Big sister, whatever you say is true. I'll go first. Li Fan drank another big mouthful. The alcohol rushed to his head like a tide. Brother, sister is telling you. Our family's Moon Immortal is suffering. Yuan Chunli started to cry as she spoke. Her nose was dripping with tears and snot. Not long after she was born, her father got schizophrenia. Now he's still in the hospital. He's a bottomless pit. Both of us have had enough of this kind of bitter life. Big sister? You, don't worry. In the future, I'll take care of her. Li Fan's words almost made Lin Yuzhen cry. It's already hard enough. This fellow is still trying to provoke me. Really, why did the two of them have to drink for no reason? They don't even have a high tolerance for alcohol. They're already this drunk. Finally, looking at the two of them collapsed on the table, Lin Yuzhen wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes. She helped Yuan Chunli to the bed before walking over and pushing Li Fan. Big sister? Don't mess around, Li Fan mumbled. Go to hell. Who's your big sister? Lin Yuzhen rolled her eyes at Li Fan. But not big sister. Isn't this my wife? Li Fan chuckled and pulled Lin Yuzhen into his arms. Come, let hubby kiss you. With that, he really kissed Lin Yuzhen's little mouth. Lin Yuchen was stunned. She instinctively wanted to push Li Fan away, but Morong Ying's words suddenly floated in her mind. Have you ever kissed before? Humph, why haven't I kissed before? Didn't I kiss her during Sieber? Lin Yuzhen thought of this and accepted Li Fan's kiss in a fit of pique. Li Fan's lips were soft, but it would be better if they didn't smell like alcohol. Just as Lin Yuchen was about to carefully savor this first kiss, Li Fan's hand suddenly moved behind Lin Yuchen. Lin Yuzhen was so shocked that she trembled and directly bit Li Fan's lips. Ah! Li Fan woke up with a start. The bite was quite painful and his lips were bleeding. Wife, are you a dog? Who's your wife? Wake up. Li Fan blinked his eyes and saw that the person sitting in front of him was none other than his little enemy, Lin Yuzhen. Why is it you bastard? You want to deny it after kissing me? Lin Yuchen's eyes immediately turned red. Li Fan hurriedly raised his hands to surrender. Ancestor, I drank too much. Don't cry, I'll make amends. This is my first kiss. How are you going to compensate me? Big deal, I'll devote my life to you. Li Fan's self-sacrificing look made Lin Yuzhen angry. It's as if you've suffered a big loss. Shameless. Yes. It's all my fault. Eldest miss, please don't be angry. Li Fan felt bitter in his heart. This matter was caused by him. He was drunk and had forgotten what it felt like to kiss her. It was a wasted kiss. Humph, let's not talk about this first. Think about how you're going to send my mother to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. Lin Yuzhen rolled her eyes. Someone said that he'll cover all the expenses. Since he said it, I'll do it. Li Fan also became determined. At most, young master will sell his kidney. Chapter 128. Li Fan's words were quite righteous, but selling his kidney. How is that possible? I am still a virgin. If I sell my kidney, wouldn't it be ruined? I am not an apple boy. There is no need for me to give up my lower half of my body. Therefore, when he appeared on the gambling boat, Su Chen was about to cry. My lord, why are you here again? Boss Su, I want to join an underground boxing match. Li Fan said with some embarrassment. My lord, you are my lord. Su Chen collapsed on the spot. The cigar in his hand fell to his feet. If you join an underground boxing match again, I can directly close this place. But I need a sum of money. Li Fan said very frankly, I thought about it. It seems that I can only rely on underground boxing matches to earn some quick money. Ancestor, you are asking for my life. My life is not easy right now. How much money do you need? Not much, just 50,000 to 80,000. Li Fan looked on the internet. The most luxurious tour in Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand is about this price. When the time comes, he will directly spend money to book a group and let Yuan Chunli have a good time. A penny stumps a hero. You have to understand me, Boss Su. I understand your sister. Why don't you understand me? Su Chen cursed in his heart. Why didn't you think about this when you burned that 80,000? Brotherly, about the 50,000 to 80,000, you can just say it. Yufeng, go get the money for my brother. Su Chen ordered, but Li Fan stopped Yufeng. No, Boss Su, I can't take your money for free. Brother, I know you want to be strong, but you also have to think for your brother. Su Chen suddenly rolled his eyes. Why don't you see me come up with a way to neutralize it? Although I can't help you, I know a god of fortune who can definitely help you. What kind of help? 2 days and 2 nights as a bodyguard. Su Chen raised 3 fingers. The total remuneration is 60,000 yuan, according to the price given by the stunt bodyguard. If you agree, I won't look for anyone else. I'll leave this matter to you. How about it? 2 days and 2 nights? Which days? Usually, it wouldn't work. Li Fan had to attend classes. We leave on Friday night and return on Monday morning. Su Chen looked at the timetable in Yu Feng's hand. Is it okay? No problem. Li Fan was still a little excited. I earned 60,000 in 2 days. Help me find more work. It's all thanks to you. How could there be such a good thing in the past? Su Chen quickly said, Brother, since you have agreed, please sign this contract. He took a contract from Yu Feng and handed it to Li Fan. Thank you, bossu. Li Fan was still a little drunk. He didn't read the contract carefully and happily signed it. Then Friday night at 7 p.m., I'll go to the billiard hall to pick you up. Su Chen smiled and carefully kept the contract. Brother, don't be late and don't regret it. Otherwise, you'll have to pay double the penalty. I won't. I really need this job. Li Fan said only a fool would not be willing. Then see you at that time. All right, brother, do you want to play on my boat? I have a new girl here. Guaranteed to be fun. But I don't want it. Li Fan thought to himself, why is Su Chen the same as Lei Zi, always wanting to find me for a prostitute? I'm a righteous and friendly young man. How could I do that kind of thing? Li Fan didn't dare to stay on this gambling boat for long. He went back home to sleep that night. Murong Ing said, stay away from trouble. The next few days were calm. Lin Yuetin told Li Fan that ever since he agreed to this matter, Yuan Chunli has been thinking about what to wear to Singapore, Malaysia and Thailand almost every day. Singapore, Malaysia and Thailand are very hot. You can even go bare-chested. Li Fan said. Screw you. Lin Ying gave Li Fan a hard look. You're the same as that hooligan behind, not serious at all. At this time, Lin Ying stood at the entrance of Li Fan's billiard hall and said, pointing inside. Big sister, what do you mean by that? Hearing this, Huang Lei immediately couldn't sit still. He patted his chest and said, I, Huang Lei, am the most serious person. When I was a child, I always got full marks in moral lessons. I almost joined the party. Come on. You want to join the party? What party? Pornographic party. Li Fan couldn't help but ridicule. Huang Lei felt very wronged. Big brother, how can you not trust me? My heart hurts. Pain my ass. Li Fan pointed at Huang Lei. Lin Yu, how are we alike? Moral is bullshit, but I was a good student in primary school. You get lost too. None of you are good. Lin Yu curled her lips. It's better to believe in ghosts than to believe in you. Let's see what you'll do if you can't do it. You only have 7 points now. If my mom hates you, deduct all of them. That's not right. Li Fan immediately said, didn't you say that you would get 10 points for accompanying your mom? You're already drunk. It's good enough that you're not deducted points. You're not allowed to drink with my mom in the future. Lin Yuhin looked at her watch. It's time for supplementary lessons. I'm not going to chat with you anymore. Are you really not going to send me off today? I have something important to do today. Li Fan became serious. I won't accompany you. Don't miss me too much. Only a ghost would miss you, narcissist. Lin Yisen rode on her bicycle. I'm annoyed when I see you. It's better if we never meet again. Bastard. With that, she rode away. Li Fan looked at her back view and admired her long legs. Sigh, what a rare view. Big brother, this girl's legs are really long. Huang Lei walked to Li Fan's side and muttered. Fuck off, what nonsense are you thinking about all day long? You're too dirty. Li Fan fiercely stared at Huang Lei. Why can't you learn from me? You must have a pure heart, understand? Then big brother, what are you looking at? And drooling. What nonsense are you talking about? I'm fucking looking at the board. Oh, this board's legs are so long. Get lost. Li Fan kicked Huang Lei back to the billiard hall. This guy is too frivolous. He should really learn from me. What is called a clear mind? He looked down at his watch. It's almost time. Su Chen should be here by now, right? As the saying goes, don't talk about people in the day and don't talk about ghosts at night. Just as Li Fan was thinking about Su Chen, a black Mercedes-Benz slowly stopped in front of the billiard hall. Mr. Li, please get in. Yu Feng opened the door and respectfully invited Li Fan to get in. Li Fan instructed Huang Lei to take good care of the shop and not neglect his martial arts before getting in the Mercedes-Benz. Yu Feng sat inside and handed a black suit to Li Fan. Mr. Li, please change into this suit. Chapter 129. This guy is quite formal. Li Fan took the suit and looked at it. The grade of the suit was quite high. It seemed to be some brand, but he did not know much about it. But he found out that Lin Yuechen was quite proficient in brands, even though she never wore those branded clothes. From this moment on, Mr. Li will have to fulfill the contract. Looking at Li Fan changing into the black suit, Yu Feng became more serious, as if the whole world owed him money. Mr. Li must stay by the employer's side for a full 48 hours without rest, to protect the employer's safety. Other than the bodyguards, no one is allowed to get within 2 meters of the employer. Once someone gets close, he must be subdued. At the critical moment, he must have the awareness to block bullets for the employer. Damn, is this protecting the president of the country? Why is there such a big show? Li Fan could not help but ask. Mr. Li, this 60,000 yuan is not as easy to earn as you think. When Yu Feng said this, he was somewhat jealous. No matter what, he was an expert in all kinds of things, a well-known international bodyguard. But he was not qualified to take on this task. His monthly salary was only 30,000 yuan. Perhaps the only advantage was that it was not that dangerous to follow by Boss Su's side. Alright, since I have accepted this task, I will definitely do it well. Li Fan nodded. Leave it to me. He had already changed into the black suit, with a black shirt inside. Li Fan felt that he was not like a bodyguard, but more like a gangster in Japan or Korea. This is the intercom device. Yu Feng handed a walkie-talkie and headset to Li Fan. The channel has been adjusted, don't mess with it. Got it. Everything was so formal. With Yu Feng's help, Li Fan finally hung up the walkie-talkie and put on the headset. He looked at his own reflection on the phone. He really looked like a bodyguard now. Remember, you must put the employer first. The employer's life is the most important. Yu Feng warned him again and again, if the employer is injured or unfortunately passes away, then not only will you have to pay double the liquidated damages, but you are also likely to offend all the big shots in City A. From then on, you won't be able to live in City A anymore. How serious? Li Fan's heart began to beat like a drum. Who were they protecting? It was like a war. Yu Feng continued to teach him some bodyguard experience. The car had unknowingly left the city and soon arrived at the suburban airport. Li Fan had never been on a plane. He had only seen it on TV. The airport was very big, and all the passengers entered from the terminal hall. Their car drove directly into a VIP entrance on the side and soon entered a large parking apron. There were scattered small planes in the airport. Although Li Fan had never eaten pork, he had seen pigs run. These small planes in the airport should be private planes. Ordinary people wouldn't even be able to think about it. Didn't Zhao Benshan buy a private jet in the past? It attracted a group of people who hated the rich. Without a certain amount of financial resources, who could afford this thing? After all, you not only bought a plane, but also a series of expenses such as maintenance fees, downtime fees, and the wages of the captain and stewardess. He didn't know if Murong Ying's family had a private plane. The Murong Consortium was a big business, so it should have a private plane. The black Mercedes-Benz stopped next to the small plane. Yu Feng opened the door and let Li Fan get out. Is everyone here? There were already 5 tall bodyguards standing in front of him. Each of them looked like a weapon in the world. Li Fan had the feeling that he was on the basketball team, because these guys were almost 2 meters tall, and their bodies were full of muscles, with a murderous aura around them. One of the bald men glanced at Li Fan through his sunglasses and said coldly, "Is this the person recommended by Mr. Su?" The other bodyguards obviously sneered. No wonder they looked down on Li Fan. After all, compared to them, Li Fan was like a dwarf. His figure was thin and weak, and he looked extremely weak. This is the master invited by Mr. Su. Please work together as a bodyguard. Several bodyguards in front of him were international bodyguards. Yu Feng did not dare to act rashly in front of them. He said respectfully, "The safety of the employer is in your hands. Don't worry, I, Qi Zeping, have been a bodyguard for 20 years, and I have never failed." The bald man spoke with a strong sense of pride. Li Fan could see that this man definitely had some skills, otherwise Yu Feng would not be so polite to him. Qi Zeping, an internationally famous bodyguard, known as the Safe. Li Fan used his mobile phone to check the information of this man and found that he could really find it. Top 10 international bodyguards, belonging to the largest security umbrella company. Umbrella company? Li Fan was about to check again when Qi Zeping suddenly shouted, "What are you doing?" "Checking information, what's wrong?" Li Fan was somewhat puzzled. Qi Zeping angrily said, "The bodyguard's duty is to protect the employer. How can you play with your mobile phone during working hours? Are you a professional or not? The employer hasn't come yet, okay?" Li Fan felt that this man might be a little crazy. "Who are you protecting now?" "Presumptuous. I am your captain. You must listen to my orders." Qi Zeping said bluntly, "If you disobey my orders, get out of the team." "Mr. Li, from now on, don't play with your mobile phone." Yu Feng was about to cry in his heart. Sure enough, he was an ancestor. Boss Su arranged him to be in this team. What was his intention? "First of all, I am not playing. I am checking information." Li Fan's face sank. "Second, my job is only to protect the employer's safety. I don't need to listen to anyone's command, including the employer." Yu Feng's heart was broken. Sure enough. With Uncle Li's temper, no one can provoke him. What a joke. Qi Zeping looked at Li Fan disdainfully. "Which one of us here isn't an international elite? Is there any place for you to be rash? At such a young age, your tone is so arrogant. I think you lack a lesson. Come on, teach me a lesson." Li Fan beckoned him with his finger. He didn't believe this. He was here to protect the employer, not to be a lackey. Why should he be ordered around by this guy? If his tone was a little more polite, Li Fan wouldn't have quarreled with him. What he couldn't stand was this person's arrogant tone. Who gave him the right? Someone is really looking for a beating. A tanned bodyguard beside Qi Zeping rubbed his knuckles, making cracking sounds. "I'll teach you the rules." Chapter 130. Let me teach you the rules. The one who was about to make a move was a member of Qi Zeping's team. His name was Gao Hongli. Qi Zeping's team had a total of 5 people. Everyone was an expert, but they were proficient in different things. Qi Zeping was proficient in strategy and planning. Every protection plan was formulated by him. Moreover, he was also in charge of commanding and dispatching the scene. His overall strength was also the strongest in this team. His representative was called the Brain. As for Gao Hongli, he was proficient in close combat. His nickname was Hatchet Man. Gao Hongli himself was also on the blacklist of many underground boxing competitions. Most underground boxing competitions prohibited him from participating. One reason was that he would definitely be the champion if he went, so he couldn't gamble. The second reason was that this guy was too cruel. In a dark arena like the underground boxing, his enemies were either missing an arm or a leg. None of them were intact. To Qi Zeping, Gao Hongli was a sharp blade. He could use him to kill his enemies. Gao Hongli was already sneering at this time. His eyes had already swept across a few vital parts of Li Fan's body. It was as if he would tear Li Fan apart in the next second. "Please don't be angry. Unite, unite." Yu Feng didn't know how to persuade them. He had no right to speak here. The scene was a little awkward. The atmosphere was very heavy. No one cared about him at all. However, to his relief, a Rolls-Royce had already entered the airport and was driving towards them. "Missy is here." After he shouted, Qi Zeping's team members turned around to take a look. Then, they stood there like javelins. Although they were a little arrogant, their professionalism was indeed very strong. Li Fan couldn't help but praise them. He turned his head to look at the stopped Rolls-Royce. Yu Feng went forward and respectfully opened the door. A familiar figure walked out from the car. Li Fan almost vomited blood. Fuck your mother. It's actually her. Io, isn't this Hero Li? Lu Xinan was wearing a very casual denim shirt. Her legs looked very slender, and her small buttocks were very perky. She wore a pair of fleece riding boots and a western cowboy hat on her head. If other girls were to dress like this, they would definitely look weird and chunibu. However, when Lu Xinan wore it, it had a different flavor. This was the unique advantage of being a beauty. Fuck me, why is it you? Li Fan almost vomited blood, while Qi Zeping frowned and wanted to scold him, but his employer did not allow him to speak, so he could only endure it. Su Chen said he would give me a gift. I was wondering what it was. So it's you. Lu Xinan giggled. In Li Fan's eyes, she was a beautiful snake. Just that pair of big black eyes. Although they were pretty, they definitely harbored evil intentions. Is it fate that brought us together, or is it fate that enemies don't meet? Lu Xinan actually walked over and gently hooked a finger on Li Fan's chin. Li Fan took a step back and said coldly, "Missy, please conduct yourself with dignity. Yo, you have quite a character. This prince likes people like you." Lu Xinan laughed instead. "But isn't our hero Li a proud and unyielding person? Why are you willing to be a lackey for someone like me today?" "I rely on my own ability to earn money." "What do you mean by a lackey?" Li Fan immediately retorted, "Snake woman, please respect the workers. I am your employer. My first order to you is that you are not allowed to call me Snake Woman." Lu Xinan immediately said, "You are mistaken. Although you are my employer, when Su Chen asked me to come here, he didn't say that I have to listen to your orders." Li Fan said in a loud voice, "My mission is to protect you closely for 48 hours to ensure that you are not killed by others. Other than that, I will not do it. Otherwise, what if you turn into a beast and want to sexually harass me? Go to hell. Who wants to sexually harass you?" Lu Xinan immediately shouted, "I hired you, so you have to listen to me." "I don't want to listen." "You have to listen." "If I don't want to listen, then bite me?" "You." Lu Xinan was about to explode. How could this guy be so difficult to teach? However, the more difficult the prey was, the more interested Lu Xinan was. Like Guan Wenbao, who was too honest, she quickly lost interest. Li Fan, don't think that you are so arrogant. This Missy can also make you obediently lower your head. Li Fan, don't be too arrogant. Lu Xinan put her hands on her waist and stared at Li Fan. "I am the boss, I can fire you at any time." "Fine, fire me." Li Fan said indifferently, "At worst, I will go back to the underground boxing club. I don't believe that I can't earn 60,000 yuan. Do I really have to eat your food?" This Li Fan was like a hedgehog, his body was full of thorns, making Lu Xinan unable to bite him. "Don't be too presumptuous." Qi Zeping finally couldn't bear it anymore and scolded, "You are a bodyguard. A bodyguard must carry out the employer's orders. If you don't want to do it, then immediately get out of the team." "Shut up." Lu Xinan stared at him. "Did I allow you to speak?" Qi Zeping immediately lowered his head. "Hero Li, you are the boss and I work for you. Shouldn't you at least respect me?" "Missy, this matter of respect is mutual." Li Fan replied with a smile, "Do you need me to teach you what respect is? Damn it. I hate you." Lu Xinan looked at Li Fan angrily, but Li Fan clapped his hands. "What a coincidence, I also hate you. This is the first time we are like-minded." "Su Chen, I will deal with you when we get back." Lu Xinan shouted to the sky. Yu Feng silently felt sorry for his boss. "I will bring him back." He could only bring Li Fan back first. He didn't want to continue to provoke his Missy. "Who asked you to act on your own?" Lu Xinan scolded Yu Feng. "What's wrong with the servants nowadays? Don't they know how high the sky is and how thick the earth is? How does Su Chen discipline his own people? How could he teach such a group of blind dogs?" Yu Feng could only lower his head and let Lu Xinan scold him, not daring to say a word. "Venomous woman, are you done scolding me?" Li Fan said impatiently, "If you are angry, come at me. What's the point of venting on others?" Angry? I'm not angry. It was an April day, a woman's face. A second ago, Lu Xinan was still angrily scolding him, but the next second, she was smiling like a flower. "I am happy to have Hero Li to protect me. You said that you will protect me for 48 hours. You have to fulfill your duty." Li Fan's heart was drumming. This venomous woman. What is she planning? Chapter 131. Li Fan sat on the plane for 5 hours. He had always wanted to take a plane, but after taking it he realized how boring it was. Moreover, as a martial artist, this feeling of having his feet off the ground made him feel uneasy. The plane would bump from time to time, and every time, Li Fan would feel like he was going to fall. The other bodyguards had unfastened their seatbelts and occasionally moved their bodies in the plane. But Li Fan was tightly tied to his seat, not daring to move a single step. His face was pale. Lu Xinan, the great beauty, was sitting in front of Li Fan. Her expression was natural and very leisurely. She was reading a magazine and drinking coffee. Seeing Li Fan's expression, Lu Xinan was finally happy. She would only be happy if Li Fan suffered. That's right, her happiness would be built on this man in front of her. Ruthlessly, Bilan, our hero Li, who is omnipotent, is actually afraid of taking a plane? Lu Xinan saw that Li Fan was sweating cold sweat, and finally could not help but tease him. This time, she must make him embarrassed to take revenge for what happened in the past. Nonsense, how could I be afraid of taking a plane? Li Fan was stubborn and refused to admit it. Oh, then why is your face white? That's because my skin is white, Li Fan muttered. My skin is so white, without any makeup I can't do anything. Then why are your legs shaking? This is a martial art that I practice. What kind of martial art requires shaking legs? This is to train the muscles on my calves and stomach at all times. Li Fan almost believed what he said. A martial artist is also very hardworking, okay? Even a genius like me cannot relax for even a second, huh? Then why are you sweating? Nonsense, you licked it? How can you say it's cold sweat? Li Fan would not admit it even if he was beaten to death. This is because it's hot, I'm sweating. Look at you, you're really stubborn. Lu Xinan continued to admire Li Fan's expression. The corners of her mouth curled up slightly, and her little tongue licked her lips. You don't have to be so scared, really. Airplanes are the safest means of transportation, and the chances of accidents are very low. Hearing Lu Xinan's words, Li Fan's heart finally calmed down a little. But she immediately added, but if an accident happens, the survival rate is the lowest. Fuck you. Fuck your ancestors. Fuck your entire family. Li Fan couldn't help but want to curse. This Lu Xinan definitely did it on purpose. Sometimes I just think, what would happen if the plane really had an accident? Lu Xinan admired Li Fan's expression as she continued. The plane will free fall to the ground at an extreme speed. That feeling of powerlessness and weightlessness, do you think timid people would be so scared that they would pee their pants? Black lines appeared on Li Fan's forehead. Would it kill you to speak less? Would it kill you? You're really fucking tofu. Hero Li, can you answer me? Lu Xinan looked at Li Fan, who was about to collapse, and couldn't help but giggle. Snake woman, a female devil. Li Fan couldn't stop cursing in his heart. At this moment, the plane suddenly trembled heavily, and then fell at an extreme speed. Lu Xinan couldn't laugh anymore. Her face was even paler than Li Fan's, and she let out a scream. Her body floated up gently, and her hat flew up. She desperately grabbed onto the armrest, and her scream became louder. Li Fan didn't hesitate at this moment. He reached out to unbuckle his seatbelt, and then let his body sink. His feet seemed to be rooted to the cabin floor. At the same time, he stretched out his hands, grabbed Lu Xinan's seatbelt, and buckled it for her, while he cursed. Motherfucker! You're such a jerk. Who told you to jinx it? Help! I don't want to die. Sob, sob, sob. Lu Xinan hugged Li Fan like a life-saving straw, and clung onto him like an octopus. Her seatbelt was still holding on to two people, which made Li Fan very uncomfortable. Let go of me. I don't want to. I want you to die for me. You're looking for a scapegoat. Li Fan was very depressed, and the bodyguards in the cabin were also panicking. A plane crash wasn't within their scope of business. Go to the cabin quickly. Chi Zepping immediately ordered, and when they were about to move, the plane slowly lifted up and gradually stabilized. The captain's voice of apology was heard over the radio. I'm sorry, dear passengers, there was an emergency airflow just now, but we have flown over safely. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, but Lu Shinan was about to cry. When I go back, I must fire that stupid captain. Don't let him hear this. Li Fan hurriedly advised, if he takes things too hard and takes us with him. That would not be good. The bastard. Lu Shinan shouted a few times, and suddenly pushed Li Fan away, and then lowered her head, biting her lips tightly. What's wrong with you? Li Fan was somewhat curious. What's wrong with Lu Shinan all of a sudden? Lu Shinan didn't speak, just lowered her head, and bit her lips so hard that it almost bled. Li Fan suddenly thought of something, and his eyes blinked a few times. You shut up. You really peed your pants? I'm going to kill you. I must. Lu Shinan actually cried, but Li Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Fuck, you were just flirting with me, and now you have a problem. Ayaya, there's a saying that makes fun of people, they are inferior to others. I'm going to kill you. Bastard. Here you go. Li Fan took off his suit jacket and put it on Lu Shinan's legs. Go to the bathroom and change. Did you bring a change of clothes? In the suitcase. Li Fan got up and took out the suitcase. When he opened it, it was full of girls' clothes. But there were also a few pieces of underwear. Li Fan found that this woman's favorite style of underwear turned out to be leopard print. What a wild snake woman. Bastard. Close your eyes. Lu Shinan scolded. Okay, I'll close my eyes. Li Fan closed his eyes and listened to Lu Shinan rustling as she chose her clothes. Then, she seemed to get up and go to the bathroom. Li Fan silently closed the suitcase for her, and suddenly frowned. Chi Zepping. Li Fan called out. The baldy was closing his eyes to rest, but hearing Li Fan's call, he opened one eye, and then became furious. You pervert, why are you staring at Miss Underwear? Calm down, look at this, what does it look like? Li Fan said, took out a small silver box from a bag in the suitcase, and carefully put it on top of the clothes. Chi Zepping's expression froze. Chapter 132. Plastic Bomb. Chi Zepping was known as a security expert, so he was very familiar with this kind of thing. Such a big one. It's enough to send all of us to heaven. A slightly thin bodyguard next to him immediately stepped forward and checked the small silver box. New model, new code, looks like it's done by an expert. This person was called Cho Ao, an explosives expert in Chi Zepping's team. His code name was Bomb Disposal Expert. Are you confident? Chi Zepping and the others gathered around and stared at the plastic bomb. They didn't know who did something to Missy's suitcase without anyone knowing. They probably didn't know how everyone died in the end. Who knew, in Missy's suitcase, there was such a terrible Grim Reaper hidden? 80% sure. Cho Ao had already taken out his own set of tools, including a very professional notebook. He connected the notebook to the plastic bomb and then tapped something on it. According to the setting of the TV series, shouldn't we cut some red line or something? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. Layman. Chi Zepping reprimanded, what era are we in? Nowadays, bombs are executed by computers. I'm Aote. Don't interrupt, don't disturb the bomb disposal expert. The few of them didn't dare to make a sound. This was related to their lives. The bomb will detonate in 10 minutes. Cho Ao's expression became more and more nervous. The time given to me is too short. At this time, Lu Shinan had already changed her clothes and just walked out of the bathroom. As a result, she saw a few men surrounding her underwear, as if they were having a research meeting. She immediately exploded. "You perverts! I'm going to fire you!" "Stop it, there's a bomb." Li Fan glared at Lu Xinan. Lu Xinan was about to get angry, but when she heard this, she was shocked. What did you say? Bomb?" "Yes, it's in your suitcase." Li Fan pointed at the small silver box. "Why didn't you check it before going out?" I don't know." Lu Xinan was about to cry. "The maids at home helped me pack my luggage." "A new maid?" "I'm not sure. I never pay attention to their faces." Lu Xinan's heart raced as she subconsciously glanced at Qi Zeping. "Can it be dismantled?" "We're working hard, Missy." "No." Cho Ao's face turned bitter as he broke out in cold sweat. "I underestimated him. His bomb calculations were too precise. There were 3,800 code locks. I accidentally triggered the trap just now, and the time of the bomb was shortened by 7 minutes. There are only 3 minutes left. Bastard! I'm going to fire you." Lu Xinan was about to collapse. Why did she encounter such a thing as soon as she left home? "Don't panic. What's the use of firing him? He's already tried his best." Li Fan stood up and pressed Lu Xinan down on the seat and fastened her seatbelt. "Everyone, fasten your seatbelts. When there are 30 seconds left, ask the captain to open the hatch." "You're crazy." Gao Hongli was shocked. "This is crazy. This is the only way." Qi Zeping frowned slightly. "Unfortunately, there's no time to make a set of protective measures. However, there's still some danger. We can try to crack it again. All of you stop." Li Fan was getting impatient. "There's not much time left. Listen to me obediently. I'm the professional." Qi Zeping still maintained his arrogance at this time, but Lu Xinan knew Li Fan's ability. She hurriedly shouted, "All of you sit down and listen to Li Fan. Otherwise, all of you get off the plane." Since Missy had spoken, Qi Zeping didn't dare to act rashly. He opened the manual lock of the hatch and ordered all the bodyguards to sit down and fasten their seatbelts. Cho Ao sat there, calculating the time accurately in his mind. 45 seconds left. Almost there. "Snake and Scorpion Woman. Ask the captain to open the hatch." Lu Xinan didn't care what he called her. She pressed the microphone beside her and ordered the captain to open the hatch. "Excuse him." The captain thought he had heard wrongly. "Quickly open the hatch." "I'm sorry. As the captain, I can't do this. Although you're the boss, I'm the professional pilot. Opening the hatch is very dangerous. Even if you fire me, I can't do such a dangerous thing. Please respect me. I have my own rules of flight and my own piloting ethics." "Immediately." "Now," Li Fan roared, "there's a bomb on the plane." The cabin door immediately opened. A huge suction force erupted from the cabin door. The entire plane started to lose its balance. Li Fan had already prepared himself mentally, but at this moment, he still panicked. At this moment, all the loose objects in the cabin, including cups and boxes, were instantly sucked out and scattered into the sky. Some objects were stuck beside the cabin door, including the bomb that Li Fan had just thrown out. The plastic bomb was stuck on the handle of the cabin door, but the time was running out. Li Fan didn't have any other way. He looked at Lu Xinan opposite him, then stretched out his hands and unbuckled his seatbelt. At that moment, the strong suction force almost pulled Li Fan out. But he circulated the vital energy in his body, imitating the dragon toad's absorption of water kung fu, and sucked on the ground. Not only his feet, but he also found it difficult to stand. Li Fan was lying in the cabin. Relying on his strong internal energy, he sucked on the ground and crawled towards the bomb step by step. Time was running out. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. Everyone's eyes fell on Li Fan. They were all shocked by this man's courage and his unique ability. A normal person would have been sucked away. "Come here." There was still a meter left, but there wasn't enough time. Li Fan suddenly stretched out his right hand and used the dragon toad's absorption of water kung fu on the plastic bomb. His powerful internal energy and the surrounding suction force resisted each other, and he actually managed to pull the plastic bomb back. Scram! Li Fan used his vital energy on the bomb again and pushed it out. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared behind the plane. Boom! In less than 3 seconds, the bomb exploded. But the speed of the plane was too fast. In an instant, it left the explosion zone. The shaky cabin door was slowly closing. Li Fan stood up and helped pull the manual lock. Everyone let out a long sigh of relief. Although Li Fan was an amateur, he had saved everyone. Motherfucker, Li Fan wiped his cold sweat. I will never fly again. Chapter 133. The next few hours were uneventful. At 12 o'clock at night, the plane finally landed at Nagasaki Airport. Young Master is finally back on the ground. Li Fan fiercely stomped his feet on the ground, too fucking happy. Qi Zeping wanted to stop him, but he finally held back. But Lu Shinan could not help but ridicule. Really a country bumpkin, isn't it just taking a plane? Is there a need to scare you like that? I'm a country bumpkin just now when I peed. Before Li Fan could finish his words, Lu Shinan hurriedly covered his mouth. Believe it or not, this miss will kill you. Bah, obviously you provoked me first. Li Fan pulled Lu Shinan's hand away and said uncomfortably. In short, this matter is not allowed to be mentioned again. Forget it for this miss. Lu Shinan lowered her voice and whispered in Li Fan's ear. Ayaya. What should I do? Li Fan pretended to say, I don't have any other ability, but my memory is especially good. This kind of thing is really impressive. Impressive, your sister. Immediately forget it for this miss. I won't forget. I'll kill you. Come on, do it. Li Fan raised his neck. Since ancient times, who doesn't die? Leave a loyal heart to be remembered in history. You're being reasonable. Of course, if I say I won't forget, then I won't forget. Bastard. Lu Shinan suddenly remembered that this guy is penniless, so she changed her method. If coercion doesn't work, then she will use temptation. If you forget this matter, I'll give you 100,000. No. 1 million. Aren't you poor? Why won't you do it even if I give you money? Someone gives you 10 million to fuck you, will you do it? Li Fan asked Lu Shinan with a smile. Vulgar. This miss certainly won't do it. That settles it. Although you're not going to fuck my body, you're going to fuck my soul. My soul is a priceless treasure that cannot be exchanged for even 1,000 gold pieces. Then I'll give you 10 million. I want to fuck you. Will you do it? Lu Shinan suddenly asked. Please take protective measures. Go to hell. Lu Shinan angrily kicked Li Fan's calf. She had changed into a short denim skirt in advance, and when she lifted her legs, it was quite a sight to behold. Li Fan reluctantly withdrew his gaze. This snake woman was poisonous. He must not have any thoughts about her. Although the autumn wind was blowing in City A, the climate in Japan was still relatively warm. Lu Shinan was wearing a miniskirt. She looked relaxed, but the bodyguards had a hard time. Although the material of the clothes was good and breathable, they were still thick. Li Fan was fine. After all, he couldn't wear his suit jacket for the time being. But the foreheads of the few men next to him were already slightly sweating. This industry was not easy to do. Although the salary was quite high, not only did they suffer, but they were also in constant danger. If it weren't for him just now, everyone on the plane would probably be in the sky. Qi Zeping was a very careful person. Even before he boarded the plane, he had been checked by him. But he didn't expect that there would be a problem on the employer's side. Just how many enemies did this Lu Shinan have? Why would there be people who deliberately wanted to kill her? Just as Li Fan was thinking, a few black-suited men had already come down from the cruisers at the airport, surrounding a middle-aged man from the island country. They stepped forward and bowed respectfully to Lu Shinan, muttering in Japanese. To Li Fan's surprise, Lu Shinan actually answered him fluently. Then she led them to a nanny van. What are you looking at? Lu Shinan noticed that Li Fan had been looking at her and couldn't help but ask. You're a Japanese? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. Go to hell, you're the Japanese? Lu Shinan spat. A dog's mouth can't spit out ivory. My father has some business in Japan, so I learned Japanese from a young age. I was born and raised in Huaxia, okay? Then you're a traitor? Damn it, who instilled such thoughts into you? Lu Shinan was furious. You're a traitor just because you're cooperating with the Japanese? What era is it now? Don't tell me you're going to be like those nationalistic youths, going out to smash Japanese cars? Is there anything wrong with boycotting Japanese products? Li Fan thought of some of the words he had seen on the internet and couldn't help but ask, if we were to chase the Japanese companies out of China, wouldn't they starve to death? What qualifications do they have to be cocky with us? Idiot. Lu Shinan rolled her eyes. You only know one side and don't know the other. Let's take the Japanese cars as an example. The majority of the Japanese cars are produced in joint ventures with China, and China's companies also hold a large share. By boycotting the so-called Japanese products, you're forcing our China's factories to go bankrupt, injuring 1,000 enemies, injuring 800 of our own. At that time, China will be filled with starving people. Will you be responsible for feeding them? That's still better than relying on the Japanese. Don't we need the national integrity that doesn't fear death? That's the worst plan. Lu Shinan snorted coldly, a boorish man's actions. Let me tell you, we're playing politics, we're playing economics. Then what's the best plan? Would you like to hear the details? Boiling the frog in warm water. When Lu Shinan talked about this, it was as if she had changed into a different person. This is what the US empire used on us back then, and now we're using it on the Japanese. My father is infiltrating some of their important industries. As long as we can control them in the future, we can control the economic lifeline of the Japanese. The Japanese are a country with capital, and the capitalists control the entire country. At that time, the Japanese will naturally come and lick our boots, and be used by us. So black-bellied. Li Fan could not help but think of Bai Lin Luo. Only little Four Eyes can think of this kind of brainstorm. I still prefer to be straightforward. If I don't like it, then I'll talk with my fists. That's why I said you're just a boorish man. I'm a martial artist. This is the way we martial artists survive. Li Fan is unhappy. Furthermore, if it wasn't for me, this so-called boorish man, you, a high-level intellectual, would have already died in a plane crash. Do you understand? Who needs you to save me? I hate you. Lu Shinan turned her head away, not looking at Li Fan. This woman really needed to be taught a lesson. If I were her father, I would really spank her 100 times a day. Speaking of which, her little butt is quite perky. The feeling of spanking should be quite good. Being her father should be very blissful. Go, 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 what am I thinking about in my head? But, to encounter such a danger right after setting off, how chaotic will this 2 days and 2 nights journey be? Li Fan suddenly starts to regret, he should not have accepted this job. Hopefully, the heavens will bless and not cause any more trouble. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.